Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all you fine folks out there. The researchers of the the researchers of the round table, so to speak. Oh yeah. How is everybody doing today? Or in the morning, depending on where you're at. Let me see. I'll do an audio test on this first. See what's going on. Let's see here. Gotta love the lag. Got to love it. Oh, yeah. There we go. It is working. What's going on? There we go, Dion. What's going on? It said, whoop. Renee Cruz is in there. Joss D. Mags K. John Beck. Planetary Protector. Oh, yeah. Everybody's already jumped in there. Robert Serrato. Saying hello. What's going on, Ricardo? Good to see you in there. Says, howdy doody. Josh D's in the house. Leaku.com is in there. Says, hi, Chris. I hope you are doing well. I am. I hope everybody is doing well out there as well. New Chaotic Order's in there. Let's see. Mimi, what's going on? Good to see you in there. The Cheney's ass. That's a good one. Let's see. David Clark. What's going on, David? Hey, all, and Chris, what's up? Had to miss the last two hangouts. Glad to be back. Hey, you got to do what you got to do, right there, David? No problem, brother. Good to see you in there. Bud Norton says, hey, anyone? What we got here? Let's see. Pete Ferrero's in there. Oh, I forgot to let's put the old mug up there. What's up? Yeah, Mr. Thumbs Down always shows up. It's good to see that they're punctual. I like that. It's like, what's going on there, Mr. Thumbs Down? You'll get that. I think it's hilarious. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I... Mars the Second Genesis is in there. What's going on? Mars the Second. H-Stars 1AV, what's happening? Good to see you in there. Claire Mead's in there. Hello, Claire. Like Me Watcher, what's happening? Good to see you in there. John McDonald's in there. New Zealand, greetings to Chris and all fellow suspects. Looking forward to another interesting few hours. Oh, yeah. Oh, you got that right there, John. Let's see. Let me see. Get this thing back where it was. Kind of jumps a little on you there, but it's all right. Great for all's in there. Says hello, everyone. How's everyone doing on this Friday? TGIF. Again, I look forward to the Fridays because of all you folks. As far as work-wise, I got to work tomorrow, but it'll be an easy day, so I'm not really worried about it too much. So, yeah, TGIF regardless, right? Yes, I read about that too, Pete. He said Turkey wants a rover on the moon by 2030. I was just reading that as well. Waking Souls, what's going on? Good to see you there. Kyle Harvey says, yo, yo, yo. Les Sweet's in there. What's going on there, Les Sweet? Johnny Pollitzer's in there. Says, hi, guys. Hope everyone is okay. A big hello to all from the UK. What's going on there, Johnny? Big old hand wave to you over there to the UK. Hope you're doing well. Mars, the Second Genesis. I have done a crap load of X3D this week. My computer's having the day off tomorrow. Probably a good thing before it decides to rebel against you, right? Just say that, so I'm just going to puke up my guts. That's the end of that. There's a CPU for you. So, yeah, it's probably good that you give him a rest. Well, every now and then, right? What's going on, Noodles? Good to see you in there. Z Humble Pie's in there. Samantha Morris is in there. Hello, Samantha. Hope you're doing well. Equalizer says, I need one more follower on Instagram. Smith Graham. Well, I just said it right. And there it is. To get me up to 200. Please, folks. Yeah, go up there and Let me see here. I'm going to put it right here. Here's his Instagram. If you guys have Instagram, go up there and hit him up. Follow him. Right there, you can see where I just put it on near the bottom. Catmandu's in there. Sweet summertime. Hello. Oh, how sweet it is. Martin Lucas, he says, howdy y'all. Ozone says, hey, what's going on, Ozone? Corey Core's in there. What's going on, Corey? Let's see, Herschel Warden's in there. What's going on, Herschel? Peter Petrelli's in there. Says, hey, Chris. Hey, gang. How's it going? It's going good here, Peter. I hope you're doing well. Alta Suede, I guess it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yo, 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 he says, greetings from Sweden. What's going on over there in Sweden? Hope the weather's doing well. I don't know about you guys, but the weather here is like absolutely berserk. It's like, it was like, even now it's still 88. Heat index is 97. I think it hit about 91, 92 today. And then next week's going to be in the 70s. It's like, this is not normal. I don't know anybody in my local area, like even the tri-state area, like Kentucky, Ohio. I know there's a lot of you folks in there. Even some of you are in here today. What's going on with the weather here? And has anybody else noticed that around the world where you see, like, you know, what's usually the norm this time of year is suddenly a little bit different, you know? Am I the only one seeing this, or is this, like, yeah, just going on here? I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. Pete Ferrer says, just speaking of which, right? He says, Buffalo, rainy, then clouds, then sunny, then clouds again, 77 comfy. Yeah, 77's not bad, right? Of course, the humidity will probably murder you. But if you're about 100% humidity, I could feel hotter than 77 there. Kyle, thank you very much for your support, man. I wanted to jump down. I did see it come on there, so I just wanted to say thank you for your support, as always. Much appreciated there, brother. He says, how's it going? Got the relaxing pair, I guess. How's it going? We'll see, he's posing over there. But I do appreciate you there, Kyle. Let's see. Michael Greer's in there. Says, howdy all. What's going on, Michael? Juxtabilly, what's happening? He said, hiya, Chris. Good vibrations to everyone. Gotta love those good vibrations. What's going on, Adam? He says, morning, guys. Hope all is well. He says, well, I'll be here in some pods, always liking Chris's videos, etc. Just taking a break for a chat for a while. Lost family member to cancer last week. Ooh, man, I'm sorry to hear that, Adam. I really am. I hate to hear that kind of stuff. I really do. You know? Yeah, all you can do is just take a little time off and just chill, man. I know. Been seeing that quite a lot here lately. It's just been crazy. Again, my condolences to you and the family there, right? Josh D said, hello, Chris. Thank you for all the work and time. Well, I appreciate it there, Josh. Oh, yeah. Samantha says, good morning. He's saying to Colin Crowder, I'm tuning in from Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. Sweet. Like me watching the text before came out all wrong on my phone, LOL. Yeah, I love that when you're going like this, especially if you're mad at somebody. You F, this, that, and the other, and then it says, you duck. What? Let me do this again. Oh, you get that spell check. That's what it could drive you insane sometimes. But on the other side of the token, sometimes it's good. Because if you're just like doing, I don't know about you guys, but I guess I'm just not very good with the QWERTY there. I'm trying to go like this on there, and for some reason, you end up hitting the next letter over on some of the words. You're like, really? So it's kind of good to have the spell check. Renee Vaughn, what's going on? He said, Chris and the chat gangsters. Ooh, the gangsters are in the hizoo. I'm there, but I'm busy sitting down every now and then, and I'm running 2 videos behind. Sorry, man. Busy redoing the house, painting, repair, but I'm here. Well, I appreciate that, Renee. Good to see you in there, and pace yourself. Don't overdo yourself. You know what I mean? Just take it easy. Let's see. Colin Crowder is in there. I mentioned somebody else was actually chatting back and forth. Says, good morning from Perth, Western Australia. I hope everybody's doing well down under there. And Habit Moss says, hey, everyone. Sorry I missed the last few chats. Had a very busy couple of weeks, but I am here tonight. How's everybody doing? I'm doing well. And Habit Mars, I hope you're doing well. All right, let me jump down here. I'm going to get right to the very bottom here, so if anybody said anything earlier, my bad. Turklerin, what's happening? Good to see you in there. James Cragen's in there. James Thompson says, Senior Vids, first live. Welcome aboard there, James. Good to have you in there. Noodles, you said Lou Elizondo was saying everything is on track. We are getting support from many angles for wide disclosure of most of the facts, and full UAP report was just 70 or so pages, 2004 to now. Well, yeah, I'm just wondering. I don't know about you guys, but what's his name, that senator? Was it Harry Reid? Was on some of these disclosure videos. I'd like to get a hold of him and say, yeah, but are you aware of just right here at home, we've got people like space agencies lying to our folks here. Are you aware of that? Seeing as how you probably you guys probably give out the money to support these and have them run NASA. Of course, they'd probably go, oh, yeah, we give them money and whatever. Maybe we get kickback. So, yeah, I don't know anything about that. I mean, who knows, right? But I'm just kind of curious if they, if they even know that at all. And maybe they are privy of it and they just don't want to say anything about it, right? Who knows? It's hard to tell. Oops, moved the whole darn page. That ain't good. That is not good. Great for All says the only disclosure that matters is from the president's lips in news conference. Anything other than that just doesn't matter to the general public. Well, yeah, but I mean, again, I've always said this. I think the president's nothing more than they're a PR puppet anyway. And you can bet if they're like bucking to get the truth, they'll be like, yeah, whatever. You're just here to run the country. We don't want to hear your mouth. You can bet they've got limitations too. I can almost guarantee it. Because the DOD and the top military is probably way above the standard military, you know what I mean? Like the black ops kind of thing. And these, what's the word I want to use? I don't know if you want to use the black budget kind of situations and stuff like that, but they're well above that, and they just look at the president. Please don't ask. You're on a need-to-know basis. I don't think, unless something gets leaked, and I mean leaked big time, where it's all over the internet, and it's it's got some, it's reputable site, whatever it may be, then you go, okay, I'll take that into consideration. It looks legit, and then, of course, you wait to see if anybody else comes out, because once somebody gets into their server, if you will, and exposes them, we're not going to know the truth. I mean, so you're kind of hoping that at some point that'll happen, because that's what needs to happen. I mean, I guarantee we're only seeing like the tip of the iceberg kind of thing going on, right? So, yeah. James Cragen, thank you very much for your support, sir. It is always appreciated. You said, Chris, a great vids from you this week, like always, man. Well, I appreciate it there, James. And I do appreciate you, man. Yeah, I mean, I didn't put any, I don't know if you guys didn't, I don't know if you noticed, but on the, I usually put like a pinned post at the top of the comment section. I didn't do that. The reason why is because I was working and I actually had that scheduled to go on at 9:30 a.m. So obviously I'm in work. I can't do that. So I'm going to put the information up there. I'll put the link so you guys can check that out. I'll probably do that after this, after the live. So, but yeah, I had to put on there because I was going to work, and I usually come out of work and I'll put it on there. If you guys notice, it'd be like 12 o'clock or something like that. But I had done the video prior, did it last evening, and then put the thing up and scheduled it so it'd be on for this morning. So it was try to put on a decent time where everybody in the UK, it's not, it's relatively early for you, and it's early for us here in the, United States here. So try to get a decent time where it's good for everybody to watch, Herschel Warden, he said, yeah, first live I gotten to be part of, excited from Tennessee. It's not the heat, it's the humidity. You got that right. We had some real nasty humidity not long ago. Whew. Good Lord. Esoteric Gold, what's going on? You said just stopping in by to say hi. What's going on? Equalizer, he said, we have only been recording temperatures since 1880, so who can tell what is normal or not? Not even data to incriminate global warming. Yeah, that's true. You know, I mean, it'd be kind of funky too if they somehow, like Neanderthal man or people, you know, they're still intelligent after that, could actually have put it on the wall, like, you know, they'd actually say, oh, it's hot. That would have been funny. You have to admit, that would be pretty funny. Let me see. Josh D says, hitting the freaking like buttons, people. About 60 of you have not done it yet. Uh-oh. Whack that thumbs up, guys. Oops. Sean says, thanks for considering the UK audience, Chris. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, you know, you try to do that. I mean, it's tough because even people are now from here, and you're talking to like Australia, New Zealand, it's tough for a lot of you because I know you're also in the next day. So it's tougher for you. And so I kind of get that, you know. It's like you try to find the perfect time, but, you know, if I wasn't working during the day, I wouldn't care. I'd do it early in the morning, like mid-morning, so everybody can jump on board, and it'd be a lot easier. But there's also a lot of folks that actually work during the day. So, you know what I mean? You try to get that happy medium. Corey says, when it comes to sleeping, the heat gets to you. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I got the AC on. I don't know how cold most people run it, but I know I've been in people's houses, it's like 65 now. I said, are you trying to hang meat in this house? I'm going, Jesus, that's cool to me. I have mine like 74, 76, and I've got fans on, and it's more than comfortable. And I'll tell you what, there's still a huge difference from humidity. That's the difference, right? I can step outside and it can be 80 out. And you go, well, 75 to 80, it's really not a big difference. It is if it's 70% humidity and it's only like 30% in your house. Huge difference. So, yeah, I mean, humidity is everything. You're either going to stick to everything trying to sleep or you're not. James Thompson, that's a good theory. He said, I think UFOs use water to cool. Space is cold. So anything that travels in space would not need cooling unless it's in warm atmospheres. That's true. Maybe this is the reason why they're saying a lot of them are, you know, come out of our oceans and stuff like that. And that could very well be, right? John Pollard says all data has a value, and there will be a value to everything. True. Pete, you said NASA watching the China rover closely with satellite and monitoring Chinese nuke plans for possible leak. You know every country's like this, like got these spy satellites over each other's country. Like, what are they doing now? I mean, talk about the like high-tech peeping toms, right? It's crazy. Yeah, exactly, Ricardo. Yeah, I thought about that too, and you're right about that. He said Senator Harry Reid has voted to block everything to audit the Fed Reserve. You think he's going to tell you the truth of any UFO disclosure? I think he will if it takes the spotlight off of that situation, right? So anything that got to do with the Federal Reserve. Sometimes they do that. They'll just throw all these things at you so it keeps you busy and not seeing the actual real deal, what's going on. Very good possibility, right? Tony Gibbs is in there. What's going on, Tony? Doug Parker, what's going on? You said, watching from Red Deer, Alberta. Enjoy your shows. Keep up the great work. I appreciate it, Doug. And I'm glad you're here. I don't know if this is your first hangout. I don't recall seeing you before. Or maybe I have, but we got more than a few people in here, so it's sometimes I don't see it, you know. And I try to catch everybody. It's funny, like I said, I'll be sitting there scrolling down because I'm watching the same exact thing you're watching. So I'm talking right now. I can see myself, and it's probably a good 20-second delay here. So I'm actually, my main screen's right here in front of me, and I got another computer on this side. I'm seeing basically what you guys see. And the reason why I do that is because I want to make sure the video isn't messed up, it's not buffering, and of course I can turn up the audio here so I can just monitor that. And I can make the screen much bigger so that I can see it. Because the other monitor is up at the top here, the third one, and everything's so little up there. Yeah, so this is the reason why I do that too. So there's 3 different reasons why I do that. And sometimes what I'll try to do is I'll try to go down to each one, and sometimes I go to scroll down, and it just takes off, goes right to the bottom. It's like, I don't want to miss anybody if I can. You know, I want to get the questions, comments, or whatever. So we try to stay on top of all the comments. And Happen Moss says, I forgot to say, 97 in El Paso. That's a little toasty. Oh, yeah. What's going on there, Arts and Crafts? Good to see you in there. Mike Knapp's in there. There you go, Mike. Come to Wales and you'll need a hat and scarf to go to bed. James Cragen, you said, Chris, the first vid this week from the rover. You were spot on when you said it looks like it could have opened up a hatch in the surface and gone down underground, and plenty more to see in that vid. Well, what I thought was really weird is that when the rover's looking at these structures, whatever they are, they all, like I said, they all look like bulkheads. They're all leaning, right? You know, just like, how is everything leaning like that on a hill? You know, it may be a hill, but maybe there's a face that they built into that rock, and it goes either into that whole, maybe they tunneled out that butte, hill, or it just goes straight underground, right? It's hard to tell. So I'm seeing it a lot more, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm seeing things that are a lot smaller than what we have here on Earth. Every time I look, and I'm looking at the rover, and I'm going, okay, the rover, the mast itself, at the very top of the mast is 7 foot. And if you see that barrel, what looks like that can thing, that's the UHF antenna. And you'd have to be right around 6 foot, give or take a couple inches, right, from that. So when you just kind of, if you know the size of the rover, unless it's superimposed, then you know, you can almost like, okay, I'm right here next to this can. I can walk back there. And some of those things that look like, remember we looked at those other ones that look like bunkers, right? The rocks, they were like dual, and they had like this basically centering around them. And once I burned that away, they look like almost like an opening to like a bunker type thing. At least we're speculating on that, of course. But that's the way it looked. And when I look at it, I said, man, and I'm looking at the rover and I'm thinking, okay, I'm walking over there. It looks like it just come up to your waist. These things don't look very big. Am I the only one seeing this, or are you guys seeing this too? I think it's just really weird how every time we look at something like that, everything looks a lot smaller than we have here on Earth. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that? Oops. Kyle, oh yeah, I watch UFO TV. It's good. He said, go to UFO TV, Secret Alien Contacts, the best evidence. And you're saying 2 hours and 17 minutes and 22 seconds. The best show you will ever watch. If you will not be a skeptic after that. Oh, okay. So you're saying you won't be a skeptic after you watch this. It has Bob Lazar in it. Like I said, myself, I believe Bob's telling the truth. I believe Bob Lazar is the real deal. And they basically just tried to ghost him so that basically he didn't exist. Take away his social, his ID, the whole 9 yards, and basically, you don't exist. So anywhere he went, they said, can we see your social security or your license? We got no record of you. Basically, they just want to ghost him. I mean, you know, it's just crazy how they did that. But I'm not surprised. The government can just make you disappear. I mean, you know, it's as simple as that. Tony Gibbs, you said, Chris, last few picks, Moon and Mars have been literally undeniable proof of what we all know yet. There's always someone who will defend NASA claiming, oh, they are rocks because NASA says so. Oh, no, I mean, and I went back and forth with a couple people. in the comment section a couple times because they're like, well, I don't see anything here but rocks. I'm going, really? Rocks? Yeah, there's an abundance of rocks in these photos, don't get me wrong. But there's some things you can't tell me just by looking. Even if you go, I don't know what it is. But when I see a square, 2 round pieces, and maybe another rectangular piece in between them, I'm going to start to be a little skeptical that that's not a rock. And then when I look at other pieces, I think, okay, let me look around. Maybe that's not the only thing. And when I see other things that look like they've been like intelligently put together or made, I got to start to question that. You know what I mean? Even if we don't have a clue what these things are, it doesn't matter. We can still tell the difference between something that looks natural and something that looks intelligently made. Now, sometimes you could be 50 on the fence, 50-50, and I've done that. I'm going, guys, I'm not quite sure about this, and I'll give you my idea what I think it is. Like, my views. I'll say, it kind of looks like this, guys. It looks like this, or it looks like that. It looks like. I had one person, scrutinize me. Oh, you said it looks like this. I never said that. I said it looks like. There's a big difference between the two. I'm saying it looks like this object. I'm not saying absolutely definitive that it is. I'll say, guys, it really does look like a boat here. This looks like this. And I'm going by what we see here on Earth. So, and that's the best you can do, right? Because even if we saw a, 70 Corvette Stingray sitting right on the surface, and I mean crystal clear, first thing you're going to think of is what? Superimposed. So how do we actually, what's the definition of a real photo if you really think about it? Because you're going, okay, that's too clear. So clearly that's superimposed. If it's not, it's really super bad to see. You go, it's too. You really can't make out the details. Okay, so we're hoping to drag out as many details as we can, and then say this is what it looks like, or what I believed it to be. Again, you can't vet any of it because you can't go there. Now, if somebody says, "Hey, I've got dinosaur bones here in my backyard," we can actually go to their backyard and we can try to determine whether they are actually real or not. Of course, you'd have to bring it to some dino guy, if you will, and have him check out the bones and see if they are, leg bone, tibia, whatever the heck it may be, right? So you just need to have that kind of proof. But you can literally go there and see if they're actually full of crap or they're telling the truth. How do you do that on Mars? You can't. There's just no way around it. So you can only speculate as to what these things are, and you can only say this is what it looks like, and then I'll ask you guys, what do you guys think? Just because basically you guys get the last word in the video, right? So that's what I believe in, just being fair and saying, this is what it looks like to me. What do you guys think? We're all in together. We're trying to figure out what these things are. We'll never be able to determine whether it's absolutely the real deal, what we think it is. But we can come to an idea and say, okay, I'm not sure what this thing is, but clearly it doesn't look natural. Or this thing is next to a giant boulder. Sure. You know what I mean? That's all we can do. Indrid Cole, what's going on? Good to see you in there. What's going on? Gary Miller's in there. Indrid Cole just said, any thoughts of Bob Lazar's thoughts about propulsion system based on generating gravity out of phase so that it repels gravity? Well, I mean, they've been working in dabbling with it since the 1940s as far as anti-gravitics, right? You can look this stuff up. There's PDFs all over the place, showing how they started to figure this stuff out and everything. You can bet they got it mastered by now. You can almost bet on it. Even if you go to the 40s, okay, let's go to the 2000s. You're talking 60 years there. We're talking 80 years. I mean, yeah. You can almost bet if they don't have it fine-tuned, they're pretty darn good, probably got it pretty good. Because if you're working on a certain thing, they'll literally have a whole, basically test center, whether it's underground, whether it's in a facility somewhere, it'd be specifically for that. Especially anti-gravitics. Are you serious right now? You master that, you master flight, you can go anywhere. You can pretty much get anywhere from point A to point B in like no time. And don't have to worry about gravity and, stuff that's, friction and stuff like it. Just, yeah. You literally you're the master of flight and any other darn thing that goes with it. Kyle, thanks for your support. Where's the muscle shirt, Chris? Well, I left it over there with the muscles. I just threw them over there all together. They got in the way. I appreciate your support, man. Yeah, I just come out. I think it was, I think I started the thing, and then I went out went out for a walk and everything else, came back in. I said, well, let me just go ahead and knock this video out. And, yeah. James Thompson, you're talking to, you said, well, hold on. Let me get this thing back. Here we go. Tesla had something back then. Oh, yeah. The guy was genius. Until, of course, he got robbed of all his patents and of all of his inventions and any kind of money. And basically, yeah, was basically died a lonely man. Oops. Chaotic order. The Wright brothers were alien shapeshifters that crash landed. They weren't too brilliant in flight then. Yeah, not good. Mike Knapp, you said, I heard through the grapevine that these things everyone is seeing are from Antarctica. You know, it wouldn't surprise me, or from the oceans themselves. You know, we automatically assume that it's got to be from out there, you know, exo-Earth. You know, it's got to be way out. How do we know that? I mean, they could be living on this planet and just coexisting with us, and we don't even know they're there. Unless, of course, you're part of the higher-ups. Then, of course, you do know that. But, yeah, I'm not sure how that goes, but you can bet they're right here from Earth, too. Ricardo, you said, I see a lot of common shape and landforms on Mars, like those of Randall Carlson's illustrates as remnants from a great flood event. I agree. Your second part was saying, mixed with that, there are definite evidence of nuclear blast damage and general erosion of manufactured parts. Yeah, I know. I see the same thing, man. Some parts look okay. In other words, they don't look like they're in ruins or any of that sort. And then some of them look like they've been washed and thrown about and thrashed about, right? Broken pieces everywhere. Even if you look at stone, some of them look like they just were broken recently. And they want you to believe there was no life at all for millions upon millions of years. Okay, I'll go with that. But what I have an issue with is that if they have the windstorms they claim they do over millions of years ago, every rock there would be probably round. Think about it. Just blasting of sand constantly. And now, don't get me wrong, you can get some flat rocks and it just keeps wearing it out and stuff like that. But, you know, you would think a lot of these rocks would be like so smooth or pretty darn close, right, depending on the granules that are hitting it. But you would think there wouldn't be any sharp corners on these rocks. And the ones that look like they've been broken apart, like let's say you can take a statue and just kind of snap it in half, you can see it's fresh. And it's like, wait a minute, over millions of years? Let's say there was life there millions of years ago. Of course, they're not going to tell us regardless. But if there was, and these rocks have been on the surface of Mars that long, you would think you wouldn't even see that fresh cut kind of thing when it's open. You would think it'd be rounded surface, or edges rather, and you wouldn't even see that. It would be like sand inside there, and you wouldn't see any of that. I don't know. Maybe it says, feed the truth. Oh, yeah. Jay McGuffey said, 10-1, there's man-made radioisotopes on bones on Mars. Bone Mars. On Mars. I think that's what you meant to say. That might be your spell check that's messing with you, I guess. But, yeah. So, I mean, to me, it just seems like it would not surprise me, like you're saying. There'd be bones, all kinds of still, you know, fallout, nuclear fallout in there, if this happened recently. But even then, you could probably check the density of the bone and actually see that there's some isotopes, like you're saying. It wouldn't surprise me. Rock Hits, what's going on? Good to see you in there. He said, Lazar knows the truth. That's why they hound him. Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't tried to off him yet. But I think they're thinking, well, if he should disappear tomorrow, or any time earlier, years earlier, they would have said, well, he must have been right because they snuffed him out. You know, maybe he had a terrible accident. You know, we don't know how that brake line got cut. I mean, how you lost your brakes. You know what I mean? It's just that weird thing where you just don't know. They could have easily offed him anytime they wanted to, but they figured, hey, why don't we just make him disappear as far as paperwork? And, yeah, he doesn't exist. That's another way. I mean, think about it. You can't do anything. You're pretty much stuck. Can't get a loan. Can't do this. Can't do that. Got to have a name. Well, let me see your ID. Well, it's not in the system. You know how many brick walls you're going to run into in life just trying to do just normal life, you know? Almer, you said, Nicola, talking to aliens. Well, that's what he was thinking, right? That's what he was thinking, that there was either a satellite out in space or he thought he was talking to Mars. Because back in the day when he was they had the first, I don't know if it was a Marconi radio or whatever it was, but he was listening there with the headphones, trying to see, or trying to listen rather, out there, and he thought he heard like a transmission of some sorts. I don't know, And it's not like we had a ton of satellites back then. Think about it. Was there any at all? Probably not, unless we go with the Black Knight. So that's what he was thinking. Something orbiting Earth, or he thought he was hearing things from Mars. I think they just jumped on me. I wanted to read this again. John Roberts says, all right, Chris, how's things? I caught one of those bright white light UAPs on camera. How do I get it to you? Yeah, you can put it on Mars Anomalies at AOL.com. I love saying that. Every time I think of that, I think of my son. Oh, man, God, you still use AOL? I said, yeah, it's still an email, isn't it? I mean, why does it matter? But, yeah, I mean, you can send it to, like I said, Mars Anomalies at AOL.com. Pretty simple. Try to keep it that way. So this way here, people can remember it pretty well. Not too complicated. I like this picture here. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Let me see if I can find this thing again. This was actually pretty funny. I'll show you that too, by the way. That was actually pretty good. You guys have seen this. It's been on Facebook. I love this picture. Guys, you got to love the alien behind it with the baseball bat, what looks like barbed wire on it. It's looking like, I'm so going to beat the crap out of you right now. Just look at the face on that thing. I love it. This is great. Let me see here. All right. What was this other one? Just jumped on my head. New Chaotic Order said, do you think pyramids were an ancient form of telegraphs? Well, they said it was either a power source or communications. Because if you look at a lot of these pyramids, they're near the equatorial region everywhere on Earth. And, of course, either side of it, too, as well, right? But most of them are pretty close to the equatorial region, so they thought maybe there's some kind of link. And, of course, this is, to me, it's speculation. But the way they say that, can you imagine if there was some kind of link, communications link, or some kind of power link, and if you were anywhere near it, you could actually, basically receive it. Kind of like what Nikola Tesla was trying to do, would transmit electricity. So was it something similar to that? I heard speculation about that. I heard a whole bunch of things like that saying something along them lines. It was basically an energy source, like the Great Pyramid of Giza, things like that. Just really cool. Now, whether these things were, who knows, right? It's still sweater? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Your question was, you think China was told by NASA about the extinct civilization on Mars? If so, what's their purpose up there? Well, the only thing I can think of is, again, we have our normal, everyday, space agencies, right? Whether it be NASA, ESA, Emirates now, they're up there. India's up there. Russia's up there. The list goes on, right? So I believe those are pictured like we are. We sit around. I call it the round table, but let's suppose these guys are on the higher up. So we have the regular PR, meaning the public part of ESA, NASA, and those are the people doing the normal work, and they're showing the public of all these things. And then there's the higher ups, like the black ops kind of thing part of it, and they're all together saying, okay, this is what we need to do. We need to get together. We're going to look at this part of Mars. You're going to look at that part, but you're going to look at the atmosphere and any of that sort that's related to that. We're going to look at it here on the ground. and we're going to check out the civilizations that are there. So everybody's got their own part to play. And now there's some countries that are just going there, like Russia, just sending orbiters. They're not even going to the ground. So maybe they're just going up there saying, hey, we got just as much right to be around Mars as you do. So we're going to send our own orbiter up there, and we want to see for ourselves what's up there. How do we know that some of these people didn't actually look at some of these photos or videos, and I don't mean just mine, anybody's, and said, I'm just kind of curious. I wonder if these things are real, if they're really up there. And, of course, they read other documentation probably from other scientists, which are probably not really mainstream because they'll get shunned by saying that there was, like Dr. John Brandenburg, right, where he says there was 2 nuclear explosions, so on and so forth. Okay. So you start putting these pieces together. Wait a minute. We're seeing things that look like they're in ruins. Things look like they've been thrashed about. You know, we get this thing about 2 explosions. Look at all the rovers and landers, where they're located around these 2 exploded areas. Yeah, is it coincidence? Probably not. Why don't we send our own stuff up there, regardless of what anybody says, and we'll get our own info from it. And I believe that's what I would do if I was, if I was a leader of some country. I'd say, I don't give a crap. They don't own this planet. I'm going to send my own probe up there, or orbiter, or whatever. Put the best equipment on there as far as camera-wise, because we're not going to go to the ground, the actual Martian surface. So let's do this. Why don't we just send our own orbiter, and there you go. And, as far as like I said, their purpose up there, like I said, they're all working together, and they all have their own part to play. That would be my thing. I don't know if anybody else has got any ideas about this, but yeah. Pretty interesting as far as I'm concerned. Like I said, there's more than one country up there, and they keep going up there. Remember, it's a dead planet. Nothing but permafrost and dust and little dust devils and things like that. But yet everybody wants to go there. For what reason? I mean, we're already up there to see if there's ancient life on that planet. So what more do you need? We know according to NASA, it's a dead planet. Nothing there to see. Nothing but, again, rocks, dust, and little, whirlwinds just going around. I mean, come on. I mean... Almeri said on Mars, 5% oxygen. If we were to take what scientists are saying from NASA and ESA, if we were to believe that, and, I believe it's a little higher. That's just the way I'm looking at it, because I've done a lot of research on how much water's there and, stuff like that. And they said there's a water cycle in Gale Crater, and I'm not sure about over here in Jezero, but I mean, at least there was. So, you have to believe that it's probably a little bit denser oxygen in that crater itself. So, that may be on a generalization as far as Mars itself, but in certain areas, I bet there's pockets of heavier oxygen there. And you can almost bet if there's probably some kind of life there. Because you got to remember, there's a lot of carbon there too, right? It's basically made up of a lot of carbon. What does, plants and stuff live on? And then what do they give off? So, if you have an abundance of that, like organics, plants, things of that type, then there's going to be a lot of oxygen in that area as well. If that's true. You know what I mean? Sean, you said, Chris, I enjoyed the dissection of the Mars-China 360 during the week. Why did they make the image look so flat and empty? Surely we already know the truth. It's 2021. Yeah, I mean, they have that habit, guys. Again, take out any kind of shadows. Take out anything that has to do with a darker... It's like here. If I was to take out anything that was dark in this photo, it would almost become less and less 3D. Like, you wouldn't see the depth of the photo. And that's the whole key to it. Take the depth out of any photo. Take out all of the shadows, anything that's colored black or any of that sort. Take it all out of the photo. Then copy it and put it in make it a less resolution, a crappier resolution, if you will. So then when you and I go to zoom into it, it breaks apart. And then it has no depth to it. So you can't see structures and stuff laying there. But I love the actual low-res photos. And I don't mean when you zoom in, because clearly they fall apart. But when you just look at the photo and take a magnifier to it, you can literally see what they drew around, set object, and then they put the same texture of the ground on top of that, and it's literally hiding it. But you can see a shape of something right there. Oh, yeah. Pretty interesting. Yeah, Mary, you said on Mars, 5% oxygen. Rivers, light blue sky, trees, birds flying. Yeah. Yep. All right, I'm just looking at these because I know some of you guys are talking with each other. Chris Andre says, hey, Chris, great work. Appreciate you, Chris. I do appreciate that. Andrew Cole, you said, Chris, care to comment on the idea that the moon is an ancient transport used to sustain life between planets, perhaps that we arrived on Earth from a planet like Mars using the moon? You know, it's not the first time I heard that kind of that scenario, so to speak, where, people have said that it might have been some kind of, like it's artificial, it's a spacecraft of some sort. There's no way to prove that, but I believe, I mean, is it a possibility? I guess. I wouldn't say yes. You know, I'm thinking out of 100% idea of that, I'm saying 10%. So it's not ruled out, but I don't know. Because there was a time before the moon, right? That's what the ancient ancestors have said. So is that a possibility? Sure. As far as, like I said, I don't know. Like I said, I'm a fan of the theory of panspermia, right? If you look that up, and, you know, if something hit Mars and the rocks come off of the Martian surface, and of course it made its way to Earth, which they have found some of those rocks and part of Mars in Antarctica, and I think one of the poles too. So if that's true, and they probably looked at it, and I think they even seen, wasn't there something that was fossilized, microbial life on there or something? I forget what it was, but regardless of that, if that what happened and there was these things could live inside these rocks if they're porous or whatever, and they make their way to Earth, started life here. So you would almost have a mirror image. Whatever was living on Mars would be living here. So is that a possibility? Sure. I think so. John Ward, what's happening? I got a photo of one of yours. Remember you just did that last video, which, by the way, was a good video, where you were talking about a couple of these craters and stuff. I'm going to show you a photo. I enhanced it. I think at the bottom, remember the one you said, oh, it looks like it's like a circle. You were looking down into the depth of that crater, and you said it looks like a circle type thing. Gotta look at closer. Watch this. I took a snapshot of yours, and then I enhanced it. Look at what looks like little squares in here, right? 3 white pieces in a row. Looks like it has this weird shape in here and these other weird shapes. I believe if you look at to the left-hand side around the 10, 11 o'clock area, it looks like you got like an overhang. You got shadowing. It looks like you can go up and underneath that. And this would probably come to the idea, well, you know, it gives the idea, I don't know, maybe it's a better idea thinking maybe a lot of times these, you know, everybody says, oh, they're living underground. And I believe that may be the case. A lot of people are saying, yeah, I think they're all underground. And they may very well do that. And this is what we're seeing. But I can see what looks like these weird color right around the 11 o'clock area, 10, 11. Looks like these rectangular structures. There's one here, this rectangular right there. One here, it's whiter. Of course, this is almost in the shadow, so maybe that's why he's doing it. You got these 2 white pieces overhanging or at the top. And you got these other funky kind of shapes inside of this crater. I don't know if you've seen that, but you can see what looks like these weird shapes inside this crater. And it would make sense if they do live underground, then they live inside the crater and they just go underground. I mean, maybe it's like a weird, what do you want to call that? Like it's like an entranceway to the underground, but they've got structures and everything else and to maintain the outside or whatever. But I saw that, I was like, interesting. And you can see there's actually more to it because right here, of course this cursor is real small on there, but right next to this brighter rectangular or square piece right there, there's one in front of it, and you can see where they literally centered this thing out. But there's one almost identical to it right here in front of it. So I figured I'd show you that. I don't know if you had seen that or not, but good to see it. And by the way, that was a great video. Thanks, Kay. Zondo was all guns blazing, then went into Limp Bizkit. I have to watch what I say. Why? That was pretty good. I like that. Les Singleton, he said, I love to look back at our Earth from Mars. Yeah, yeah. They actually had a couple of them where showed the, I think it was a Curiosity rover, that actually taken photos of Earth in the night sky. Pretty neat. Pat Owen, what's going on? Good to see you in there. I didn't see you jump in there. H-Sauce 1AV, you said a facade. Absolutely. Yeah, depending, again, we're talking about perspective, right? Depending on how you look at that, it could be a mountain, could be a crater, but it kind of looks like a crater only because you can see, not that, but you can see right here, it looks like the way that's shaped like that there, it looks like it has like a ejector or a wall to it, right? You can see around the edges. What I do is I try to burn through it because you can see these like, almost like it was outlined. These pieces here were outlined, and there's something right here, around the 4 or 5 o'clock position right there. Something elongated right there. I don't know. But it looks like structures or something inside to me, and you can see where they've really put this, it's like this white underneath this dark gray, if you will. There's much more in there. Look at this little piece right here. Let me just zoom into this. Right here. I'll put it right in the middle of the screen. Right there. And again, we have these kind of square rectangular pieces. There's one here. It looks like it's half been covered over, but it looks like there's white underneath this and some of these shapes. See that? And this over here on the left, it looks like an overhang where there's a bunch of shadowing going on. I don't know if you can go under it or not, but it looks like there's structures there of some sort. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Colleen Barnes, good to have you in there. Good to see you in there. Thank you very much for your support. It is appreciated. There was so much to see in the last video. It's clear the mountain style is to build inside of these hill structures. They are very common on Mars. We have seen it a lot. Absolutely. And here's the thing. It's like, and I've said this before. Remember I said, I don't think the buttes are really buttes. Now, I don't know if they were built to be like a camouflage, so they actually look like a normal butte or mountain. So maybe enemies from above couldn't see them, or, they are actually, buttes and stuff like that. They're just tunneling in them. It's not like humans haven't done that on Earth, right? Look at Turkey, when they would, they just like they had this soft stone type thing, these hills, and they'd actually live in these, and they expand rooms and everything else in them so they can live in them. So it's nothing out of the ordinary that we've done that. Why couldn't they? Right? Well, I'm going to do it this way. That's fine. But again, thank you very much, Colleen, for your support. It is greatly appreciated. I don't know if Alien Hunt is in here either. I wanted to show him that because he had a video, and I don't know if he took it down because I'm not seeing it now. He showed that area, and I'm going to show you that in Photoshop, where there's a video I've done of the moon and showed them structures from afar, right? Well, he had one on there, and I'm trying to think it was the Apollo 8, and it was a magazine from Apollo 8 where it had the video, or the photo rather, and he showed it. He said anybody who does an enhancement, maybe something like he said, show me your enhancements, and it might be a topic of next video. For some reason, I can't find it again, so I don't know if he got rid of it. I don't know what the deal is, but if he jumped on here, I'm going to show it to you folks anyway, but. Here's what's weird. It looks like, see the background here, like on this right-hand side? It's not really a background, but the ground on the right-hand side, where it's all like that white. Well, the same thing with a lot of the moon videos. You know that they're like literally censored out. They're sanitized. They're whited over. Call it what you will. When I brought everything down, we can see a perfect satellite view of those three craters, but they're not craters. They're actually structures. And then what I do is I took mine and put it on this photo as well. And so we're seeing it from a distance, like at an angle, and the other one's above, and they pretty much look identical. That's the crazy part. And I'm going to show you that soon, too. Oops. Aye. Ultravires, what's going on? He said, hello, Chris, and hello, everybody here. What's going on there, Ultra? Good to see you there. Pete's Vlogs, what's happening? You're in there, too? Maybe these aliens live underground. Could be a whole atmosphere underground. Yeah, we don't know. How do we know that they're not producing their own oxygen from the carbon? Isn't that something we're doing now with the new rover? Imagine that. And it doesn't matter what rover's doing, whether it's Curiosity or Perseverance. It really doesn't matter, right? Because the way I look at it is they're doing it. So they're literally making oxygen from the atmosphere of Mars. Couldn't they have done this a long time ago? I think so. Yeah, there's several in there. Noodles, you said, Chris, one of these pics from Mr. Ward looks like a cylinder. Check it out. I don't know if you're talking about this particular one in this pic, but I see what looks like kind of cylindrical things and kind of weird, like square rectangular pieces, and just weird. And I'm not even surprised that he's seen it. Like I said, he does a lot of this stuff, and I forgot exactly how big he said this crater was, if it is in fact a crater. But yeah, really, really cool. Yeah, I saw that too. Rocket, you said the 3 dots right here, which is right here, right around the 1, 2 o'clock position. 1, 2, 3. Whoop, I keep hitting that damn thing. I love it when it does that. That's awesome. Let me see. We'll just let it go blank here for a second. We do this. Oh, I don't want to cooperate. Okay. Let me see here. I'll bring it way up and it'll be like, I can't see anything. But anyway, looks like it just doesn't want to cooperate. So, but you can see the 3 dots there. It's pretty cool. Mr. 7 Digits says, Hollow Earth Theory. You know, it's just, yeah, it's kind of the same thing on Mars. Would they do that thing too? Would they live underground? And it's really not far-fetched to believe Hollow Earth either. People just think there's like a whole opening completely like there's no core. And, there's another civilization living there. No, there's definitely a core. It could be just underground caverns that are so large you could stick a large city in there without even trying. Now, let's suppose you got to access it through the ocean. They just go into the ocean, come back up, and there's an open cavern that's absolutely huge, and there's a city inside it. How do we know whether there isn't or not? If we haven't been down to every deepest part of the ocean. Now, we have been to the, the Marianas Trench. We've been to the lowest one there, and I believe there's another one that's even deeper than that. I don't know if it was off the coast of Japan or China, was it, folks? I'm trying to remember. Either way, if we haven't been to the deepest one, we don't know all of these and how much pressure these things can take, because clearly if they can go to the deepest parts of the ocean, they can literally go up inside a cavernous area, and there they are. City just thriving right there. We'd never even know it. And they can pull oxygen from the water if they want to. I mean, they can, there's so many things, that, we don't take into consideration. We just, that could never be. I'm not so sure about that. What's going on, Linda Mills? Good to see you. He said, hello, everyone. I see things, LOL. Maybe an alien head, X-ray showing brain material. Yeah, could be. But that is supposed to be a, just a crater here. And he's done several others, too, on this video. It's really, really good stuff. And you can see it it's from the high rise. You can see it on the very bottom here. Oops. Andrew Cole, the question was, Chris, the obfuscation which we see in these images, is this being applied here on Earth or at the source, allegedly on Mars? I asked because it would be interesting to intercept the image data inbound. Well, the thing is, it's going to be highly encrypted. There's just no way around that. And we're under the impression that it has its own AI, that it actually can put like a filter over the actual photos. So in other words, if they're seeing something, let's say structures right in front of them, the AI automatically recognizes these squares or any kind of shapes and it tries to mush them over, and it just puts an overlay. So and it's like it encrypts an overlay over the top of this normal photo. So the only way you can like basically see on that is if you have the software to take that layer off and actually see the photo. That would kind of make sense. But we know they're heavily encrypted to begin with. We know that. They've actually said that. But, so I would imagine they'd have to do that purposely so that it can't be, and if it is intercepted, you're not going to see much of anything. You're just going to see a bunch of garbage. Maybe it's encrypted in a form where you can't see anything unless you actually... Well, here's the thing. I'm trying to think, too, because it could be two options to that. They either encrypt the signal, period, and you can't break the signal, and it's just a natural picture and comes here to the DSN, Deep Space Network, and then they decrypt it. And, of course, all the information comes out. Or they're doing it over there. Now, I heard that they were actually encrypting it with AI at the source of the rovers or landers, because some of them are landers, right? But most of them are rovers and stuff like that. So, and then, of course, it's still an encrypted signal, so you can't intercept it. And even if you can, it wouldn't matter. So, in one form or another, you'd probably just see garbage as far as a photo, and you wouldn't think nothing of it, because it's digitized and overlaid, maybe interlaced into the actual photo. So when you try to get it, you go, what is it? What am I even looking at here? And you wouldn't even be none the wiser until they put it through their own decrypting software, if you will, and the actual photo comes out. So I think either way, it'd be like, you'd probably have a better shot of getting hit by lightning than actually deciphering these. I'm going to lay down to the bottom here because Mr. Alien Tenno, what's going on? He said, hi, all. Well, USA off back to Venus. Off back to Venus. Oh, yeah. Okay, we're talking about going back. Thought the planet was inhabitable. It's almost like I said, it's almost like they looked at the moon years ago, found some crazy stuff on it, and then decided to look everywhere. It would make perfect sense to me. Again, I said this a million times. If I was looking through a telescope, and I'm part of one of these space agencies, and we got a super powerful telescope on the top of a high mountain, so we don't have the pollution to worry about, and in the night skies, it's the thinnest atmosphere. Maybe it's not as active, or it's not as thick, if you will, and you're seeing something on the moon that doesn't belong there. Okay. You know it's not ours because we don't have the capabilities, because we're going back years now, right? But now we go into the future where we're sending the LRO, or Lunar Reconnaissance, LRO, I'm sorry, Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. You send that there. You're seeing crazy stuff up close now because it's only 75 miles off the lunar surface. You're seeing these things, right? You know darn well they're going to go. Okay, that's not ours. So they go, let's go. But keep in mind, we have the LRO, but we also have, I think they've seen this stuff long time ago through telescopes. So they looked at it and said, we got to go. That's all there is to it. We have to go there. So go there. And the Soviet Union went there with the Lunokhod rovers, and they traveled quite a distance on there. We get up there again. We confirm there's spacecraft up there, structures up there, all kinds of stuff laying on the lunar surface. And I'm talking about large structures. You know, if it's not ours, then it can't be just the moon that has something on it. What do? Let's start looking at every other planet in our solar system, and they go, well, we can't go to Venus or one of these other planets that's inhabitable. That doesn't mean it wasn't inhabitable millions of years ago, and it doesn't mean that a structure couldn't exist on there just because the atmosphere is garbage. You could be living under a dome. You could be under a large structure that has its own atmospherics in it. So just because there's a planet out there that you and I couldn't breathe on does not mean that you couldn't put yourself in a protective layer and make your own atmosphere. So it just makes more sense that I think there could be life throughout the solar system and then some. Meaning, or at least in here, we know that. I believe there's a lot more in our solar system, and I think they're setting out to find every bit they can. All right, let's see. Your Highness, what's going on? Good to see you in there. I said, hello, Chris. I hope you're doing well. Glenn Marsh, you say, I like the way Chris narrates and explains the way he sees things. Well, you try to do the best you can for what you're seeing, and you're trying to, if you've seen something on Earth, it's easy to, just describe. whether it's a tree, a car, a hornet nest. It doesn't matter what it is. You can go, yeah, it's got honeycombs in it, and, it's made of different layers of paper, or, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? You can pretty much describe it. When it comes to this, it's not something we're used to seeing, and we're trying to describe something either on another moon or another planet. So you try to come up with the words for it, like, you end up going, I can figure this out, hold on. So, yeah. Mr. Seven Digits says, not to mention the legends of Shambhala and Agartha here on Earth. This is the area around Mount Kailash. Many believe the largest pyramid of the world, the Indus, Ganges, and other major rivers start here. Well, if you think about Shambhala, it's supposed to be like a spiritual place where you can go, right? But many believe, like the monks believe, that you literally can go to that plane, if you will, and where they actually meditate and stuff like that, but they believe it's an actual real place, Shambhala. So, which I always thought was pretty wild. When you hear stuff about that, it's just really, really cool. H-1AV said underground structures on Mars make sense due to the weak missing magnetic fields, assuming they're affected by ionizing radiation. Well, again, we still have magnetic fields, right? We still have some it's very spotted on Mars, but it's still there. It's weak, but there's areas that has none, and then of course we have areas that actually would protect you from the solar radiation. So I think that's the reason why they want to go. If they know there's an area that has those, then they're going to want to build a civilization there. At least I'm talking about us, of course, not them. Oops. Ooh. Dennis Baxter says, Mars is known as the god of war. Yep, many ancient civilizations have labeled it that and known as that. Mora 42 says there could be a space slug in there for your information. Yeah, I don't know if you're talking about in here or over here, but yeah. David Gossimo, what's happening? Good to see you in there. David Gosman, you said three answers. You said, one, the aliens are obfuscating with the cameras we see, or what the cameras see, I'm sorry. Two, the aliens are intercepting and editing the signals. Three, NASA, someone else, well, he said NASA, someone else, are editing the photos. Yeah, well, like I said, I believe it's the actual AI that's built into the rovers themselves. And, of course, then once they come here to Earth, they see everything they need to see in these photos, and then, of course, they censor it out, anything in there. I have people say, well, why do they do that? Why don't they just show us pictures of nothing? Because the photos are, in fact, real. Okay? But we're not the first ones to see these. They're NASA themselves, NASA scientists, NASA geologists, whoever needs to take part in this and see this, those are the people seeing this first. So they have to bring the real photo there. Now, some people say, well, why can't they just take a photo of a desert here on Earth and just manipulate it, make it look like Mars? It can actually be tougher to do that. When you I can almost guarantee you, before, back in the day, like on the moon, they would airbrush stuff out. They would put like an acetate over these moon photos, and they would just doctrine out whatever they needed to scribble out, or a marker, and do anything they need to do to this thing, and then they would take a picture of that acetate on top of it, and that would be the photo you'd get. So you'd see that they're actually manipulated and censored somehow. Now they get software. It probably just goes right through it, passes the photo right through it, and it just does it almost instantly. So it's not like they have to really worry about it. And then they got the CGI department, which they do have, and they're literally touching these up for any things that the AI software did not take care of. So this is the reason why you see this purpose blurring, so on and so forth, right? you know, if they had things like we got Photoshop and other different software, you can bet that they've got top of the line stuff you and I probably dream of being like, oh my God, that's sweet. Yeah. Mimi reacts as Chris, check out the Red Pyramid. I noticed when you said that, I can see like there's red inside this. See this right here? And what's funny about these photos, they'll say that they're black and white. Not all of these. I don't know if this one here was in RGB or whatever it might have been. I forgot which one Jean used. I know he got this off the site. Maybe he can tell us exactly which one it was. But like a lot of the moon, you see black and white. It's not black and white. You can literally go to the top and it shows the picture, and you can look over and it says it's in RGB, yet it's all in black and white. Why? And the second you try to go over these things, all of a sudden these weird colors come out of the photo. So it is an actual colored photo, but they put it in black and white. Again, just another tactic to hide anything that may be sticking out that's a different color from the actual surface, whether it's on Mars, whether it's on the lunar surface. It doesn't matter. Just another way to trick the eye. Exactly, right next to the three dots, right here. It's got like that orangey red tinge. You can see it all over this area right here. See, what I try to do is I try to burn through this. This is where this other shape came through, almost in the middle of it. Right there, you can see that. Let me get my mug out of the way so we can see here. Right here. Oh, there's Jean. He popped in there. But you can see right here where I went all over this and tried to burn this through, and this popped in right here, is where all this orangey reddish tinge come in. Ricardo, speaking of being hit by lightning, the crater looks, well, it does resemble a lightning strike. Yeah, kind of to a certain degree. Let me go all the way to the bottom here. Great for all. Yeah, great for all. You said, why are all of these countries in collusion about UFOs, Mars, etc.? Surely there is one country that won't go along and tell us the truth. Why wouldn't North Korea go along with it? I need a rebel country. I agree with you, but here's the thing: the only ones, the ones that clearly they're not going to space, right? So they can't actually blow the whistle. Now, if they were going there, they just said, yeah, we'll work with you guys, no problem, we'll work with you. And then they get up there and see these satellite photos. They wanted to blow the whistle, they could, right? But I don't know how that works and how I don't know if it's contracted or whatever. You can't say a word, whatever. I don't know. But I mean, if I was working with NASA, I'd be happy as all hell just to see this stuff. So I'd be like, yeah, some of these people are like, yeah, we'll shut our mouths because maybe there's money to be made in the future from there. So if they're already going to Mars, like let's say I have a country and I go to Mars, I say, well, I'm working with NASA and all these other countries, so at some point, I'm going to get a piece of that pie. I'm going to actually get either a piece of land, we'll divvy it up, or whatever the case is, how they get this set up, because I don't think it's anybody's planet per se. So you get up there and you just go, okay, well, we're in it to win it, man. Let's get some of that bread. Let's get some of that money. I mean, who knows the actual, to put your finger, right on the real reason, but is it resources, the technology, all of the above? I mean, there's so much that, they could be up there. Danny East, what's going on? He said, howdy, y'all. Better late than never, Chris. What a find in the last Mars video, the ship. It was totally mechanical in texture. Well, that's what it looks like. Now, here's the funny thing. That other person I told you, I think they went by Shiva. They sent me that photo, or that the mosaic page. And that's the first one I grabbed. And then there's others. He said that, well, because I don't know if it's he or she, so I don't want to say that. But they had said that they were in other photos or other pans and mosaics, and they showed me these links. And you see it from a different angle, it looks like it's behind that what I call Little Devil's Tower, because it looks like this little Devil's Tower type thing. But when you look at it from this direction, it looks like it's behind it, which kind of makes sense. And if you go this way, but here's the funny part. When you go back to the same angle, that other thing I said, it looks like some kind of container or whatever that rectangular thing was. It's almost like that never changed, but yet the background did. Oh my God. You have to look at those things. How many things change in that background? Now, I understand if it's a distance away, details will be a bit fuzzy. In other words, you may not see the details, but this is so drastically different. Oh my God. You just can't help but to go, what is going on here? You know? Pete Ferreira said atmospheric testing could be for adoption of jet-powered vehicles for astronauts. Could very well be, right? It could be simple jetpacks. Get around faster, right? H-1AV, a silicon-based life form, would absorb ionizing radiation as food. Yeah, I mean, like I said, what we see and what our bodies can tolerate and what we need to live could be totally different on another planet. How it evolved into that. Maybe it's like plants. They basically breathe in carbon as opposed to air. How do we know? We have no clue, you know. Alien Views, what's going on? He said, hi, everyone. Michael Stark's in there. He says, what's up, Chris? Happy Friday, everyone. Oh, yeah, Max K, you're right about that. You said, I just find it very frustrating. When they say it's all natural, then we see John Ward showing us perfect circular structure with a rectangle and a perfect triangle on top. It makes me livid. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I've seen things on his channel where you see like this megalithic block, and it's pretty darn close to square. And you see these they look like 6 chimneys in a row, like lined up. There's 2, 2, and 2. Is that natural? I'm going to say no. Absolutely no. Absolutely effing no. It's just no way around it. You're right about that, Lindy. You said if we could see it in color, it would change everything. Well, it's just a way to distort the eyes. That's what it comes down to. Canada says the brain is like a muscle. When it is in use, we feel very good. Understanding is joyous. Absolutely. Yeah, David Gosman, he said, like this black and white pic with red in the crater. Like I said, that didn't pop up until I started to burn that area, and these other shapes started to come out. So you're literally taking off that fuzz. You can still see it's blurry there, but when you see it, it literally, because this whole bottom of this crater is, you can just see that blur, that like grayish blur. Yeah, this is a lot more in this photo. Oh, and at least that in that crater, right? Robert Morgan's in there. Great for all. You said I recorded a triangular UFO in 2008, put it on YouTube, and it was immediately ridiculed in the comment section. Fake video, CGI, etc. It's just not worth sharing it. I mean, if you do have it, you can share it. Because keep in mind, I don't know if you put it way back then. Well, you said you recorded it in 2008. I don't know when you tried to post it or had it uploaded. But if it was a few years back, even a year back, it makes a huge difference now because you can see how everything's starting to come out, right? So, yeah. I wouldn't care. I didn't even see MG Toe sliding there. What's going on there, MG? Yep, make a great point. In Cairo, Egypt is really Mars. That's what it basically means. I am Stuart Brown says, hey, Chris, loving the videos. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Colleen Barnes. I agree, Chris is a good narrator, especially with that accent. Do I have the accent or do you guys have the accent? Ah. Rocket says, every country wants the secret of UFOs to back engineer for power. Oh, yeah. All right, let me show you guys this here. As the aliens ready to beat the crap out of the rover. Oh. Now, this is the photo that Alien Hunter had. I don't know if you guys have seen this video that he had. But this is all whited out, censored, basically sanitized out. And he said, anybody can enhance this, let me know, and I'll make a video out of it. Well, I didn't give this to him, because I wanted to show you guys this is pretty interesting. He would have showed it anyway. Maybe I'll still give it to him. He can just check it out. But you can see these structures in here, right in here. I'll make this a little bit thicker so you guys can see this. So it's going to be really big, but right here, we'll zoom in. And it's that kind of, I call it the U-shaped kind of structure kind of thing going on with these other structures. They look like craters when you kind of look at them when they're completely sanitized out. Okay? These three craters, I look at it from over here on the video that I did. This one right here. You can see the three of them. There's one here. This one here on the ground. And of course we have this one here. What looks like side structures and everything else. Okay? And we have this big, I think I showed you guys this. This has this like weird structure. That was supposed to be from the top. You see what looked like another crater next to it, but it is not. Actually has some depth into it, right? So what I did was I combined the two, and you'll see what I'm showing you now. And now keep in mind, I didn't even know when I grabbed that screenshot from Alien Hunter's video, I just enhanced it. That's all I did. And you'd be surprised the similarities that are in here. Let's do it this way. I shouldn't say similarities, the actual structures. So we're seeing it from about this point of view, where I got it circled right here. Okay? We're literally looking just like this over at this particular crater, if you will, right here. And you can see it down. And of course we have that other U-shaped crater in the back. Now when you really look at this thing, I'm going to make this a hair bit smaller. We can get into the smaller details. You can see this one right here. It's got height to it. And this is the one I said it has these two little, almost like triangular things peeking out of the bottom of it. See it right there? Okay. But you can see this right here. And if you look, you can see what looks like something connecting it right there. But if you look at this right here, we're looking at it from an angle a lot lower down toward the surface. So what happened is the LRC, what it did was it was at that weird, like it took a view from, from almost like a sideways kind of view or perspective. And then when you look at here, you could see these things are actually in there. Again, this one right here, it's kind of going down like this. And you can see it right here. But it looks like walls and stuff. This one right here, this white piece, and you can see where they went over it right here. There's a section right here where it looks like this manipulation, this gray stuff. Well, guess what? It's right there. Okay? And again, that structure in the back is what you're seeing here. And when you see this, this is crazy because right on this one here, this crater, all right, it's right here. Look at this piece running right here. It's right there, guys. You got this tab or this wider white area. It's right there. Right there sticking out. But you can see this is kind of like, it looks like a fatter piece here, then it goes off skinny and stops right here. Well, it's right there. Comes down, well, it's going around, has this fatter, like white piece, like a, almost like, I'm going to call it a landing pad for argument's sake. But, well, in addition to that, you can actually see right here it's doing this. You can see right here it's going like this. And guess what? We don't see this part because of the angle, but you can see that part literally disappears, and that's all you see. Whoops, kind of messed that up, but you get the idea. But we're seeing it at a different perspective and now seeing these things going off this way. Looks like they're separate pieces. Well, from that area, you're going to see here, another piece here, and then going down like this. Again, look at the difference. Or look at the similarities, I should say, right there. Again, if we're seeing it from this situation, well, from this angle, I'm going to call it this situation, this angle. Look at it from here, you're going to see these are going to almost look connected from that angle. From up here, you can see the difference where they're at. They're actually facing or going the same direction, but if you look at it from anywhere this direction, they almost look like they're joined, like they're just one. And that's almost what we're seeing here. It's pretty much the same done photo. And like I said, this was taken from a satellite. And I believe this is either 8 or 11. I forgot exactly which one it was. I think one of you guys said 8. I think it was 8. And you can see that. But you can see one satellite looking above. One is more of an angle almost towards, you know, looking down on more of a level, ground level. And there you go. Now, we can't see this here. What looks like this, I'm going to call it a connection tunnelway type thing right here. Because we're looking at it from here. This way. So that's all going to be hidden. And you can see it right there. Again. Like this. Notice this little piece too. This is pretty cool. Right here. I'll go ahead and get rid of those other lines. This little piece right there. We can see something right here hanging off. And we're just seeing that differently. See it? Right there. And it happens to be between this part and this. Well, there it is. Again, it's the different perspective. We're seeing this. There you go. So there's a lot of this. You can see what looks like a little tower right here. See that? I don't think we see it in this one, though. Actually, there's a bunch of blur right here, so I'm not sure what it even taken out, or if we can even see it in that one right there. But, again, we can see these. Here's this so-called crater. And again, we've got this straight piece. Oh, look right here. Kind of fudged out and everything else. You guys see that? Just see a section. Looks like another section, and I can't make out much right here. Excuse me. But you can see this right here. It looks straight. This area right here looks like an opening. We have it right here. Almost looks like a point or something sticking out right there. See that? This actually looks almost like a octagon shape type thing. Because it's hard to see it from that view. Right here. Because we're not looking down at it. Let me jump way down here at the bottom here, guys, and see what... Okay, David Clark said, wow, that building just popped out, popped for me in 3D. But you get the idea, again, two different perspectives we're looking at. And to me, this is like, there you go. This area we're looking at right here on the left where I've got, like I said, it's closest, it's just a better angle. It's looking more into these structures, is right about here. And again, we're looking straight into it like this. Well, that's not too straight there, but you get the idea. And that's what we're looking at. So you're pretty much looking over the three of these so-called craters, and there you go. And it's funny how all I did was just enhance what he had on there, and there you go. And like I said, I combined what we had here with the one I had done not long ago. I mean, there you go. It all jives. It's right there. Some people said, well, how about you just take a different photo of that same area and maybe you won't see the same things. I don't know. I'm seeing some things that have really got some similarities to it here. Exactly, Mimi. He said, Chris, check out how these two circles are connected with each other. Yes, absolutely. Like I said, I did this a while back, and he just literally did this video, but for some reason I couldn't find it again. So I don't know if he had to take it down or what happened there, or I'm just not seeing the latest one. James Cragen said, Chris, just look at this with a magnifier, and it's very clear to see structures big time. I am looking at an abundance of evidence right now, honestly. Yeah, I mean, when I've seen these, I've done plenty of the moon videos. I've showed them to you guys, what look like miles-high structures, so on and so forth, that are hidden supposedly in these shadows, which are not shadows, they're doing it purposely. But when you see this stuff, you just go, oh, wait a minute, okay? Even if you don't believe every one of these are structure, which I don't know how you cannot, that doesn't look natural. But when you see the two perspectives, you just go, wow. Because that's what I did. When I brought that out, and I said, wait a minute, let me just compare it to the one I've done, and there you go. I mean, Alien View says, hidden from Earth. Long Island, New York, $13.95. What's happening? Yes, NASA announced a mission to Venus. They have. Absolutely. Yeah, because there's nothing to see there either. It's just nothing more than, just a bad atmosphere and dust. Rocket says, smoking gun pictures. It's there. All right. Buildings. I agree, Pat. You say, how can anyone look at this and not believe? Well, you'd be surprised. Most people are like, oh, that's just nothing. I just see craters. Okay. You're more than welcome to believe that. But, yeah. Like I said, I've done one again like this before where this one on the right had taken, it was like almost like this angle on the left, but it was off in the distance. And these things are there every single time I look at any darn, angle, different perspective. It doesn't matter. Somehow I'm seeing the same darn things. Now, some things you won't see because you're at a different angle. But from what I'm seeing here and what I'm seeing in these two together, and I'm matching them up, just about everything's right there. You just had to cut through the manipulation, that's all. Yes, most of these are on the dark side, folks. Yeah. This particular one is on the dark side. I've had people argue with me. Oh, I'm telling you right now, I have a telescope and I can't see them darn things. You're not going to. Not unless you can see, unless you've got an orbit around the moon, you're not going to see this. Clearly, you're not going to see it. Thank you again, James Cragen. I do appreciate you. Said, let's be honest here tonight. Structures, big time, man. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I had set out to give this to Alien Hunter, and I may still do that. Just put it in his email. And he can just check it on himself, even if he doesn't put it on his channel. But to see the two different perspectives is just like, whoa, I'm seeing everything in that one to that one. Pat, nothing to see here. Everybody just move along. It's just dust and craters. Just move along. And I never thought of that, Pat. You said that would make a good tattoo. People go, wow, what is that? That's pretty cool you got on your arm. Oh, that's just structures on the moon. I wouldn't worry about it. Yeah, you can, Mimi. You said if you look long enough, you can spot the high difference of the things inside the circles. Yes. And you can see a lot of the similarities to what you're seeing in the top or overhead view to the ones on the other perspective on the lower angle. You can see the difference. It's just really weird. But again, the one on the left, if you look at that one, there's a lot, and I mean a lot of manipulation in these things to block out what you're seeing around this first crater, all this crap around it. it's hard to get through it. You don't want to ruin the photo, but you want to blast away some of the crap that's covering up these said items. And, you know, it was no different for the other one as well. And so, but the stuff is there. But again, they sanitize and put everything super white, high, just make the photo extremely bright. Either just bring up the exposure, do whatever you have to do to it, but get rid of the stuff so people can't see it. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Alien Tenno, great question. You said theory. Could the moon and Mars have been connected in the past? Both have atmospheres, had atmospheres. War happens? It seems that way to me. Well, what I've seen in a lot of these moon photos, it looks like these spacecraft, like desolate, they're just laying on their side, just on the surface of the moon. I'm seeing structures that look whole, and then I see some that look like they've been wiped out some way. Of course, they're never super clear photos, so you really can't see that with any clarity. However, when I see this looks complete. Now, whether it's been hit with a war, who knows? But let's say it didn't have an atmosphere. Clearly, there's still structures on the moon. So is it possible they came back and forth? They're warring, or they're warring with another alien species from another solar system, whatever? Who knows? Pure speculation. But when I see this, I see structures, and they look pretty well built. They don't look like they were... like they've been damaged. Of course, there's no way of knowing how they originally looked and what they look like now. So again, pure speculation. Oh yeah, Mimi, you're right. I think the rings are giant walls. So it's kind of like the Pentagon. It has like certain walls that you have to go through to get to the center, and they're layered and protected. And I think that's exactly what those are. They're definitely walls. And I don't know why they build them like that, but for whatever reason, I don't know. Great for all says, ignorance is bliss. I see nothing, most people. Robert Morgan says, it's hot out, like Mars at the equator. Time for a brew or two, or more. Yeah, throw one back for me too, will you? Yeah, exactly. Dennis Baxter, he said the shape inside the middle crater. And we pretty much got the same thing here. Of course, it's at a different angle on the picture on the left. Got the same thing. But at a different angle. Bridge for Viv says, space pirates. Well, definitely other beings, that's for sure, right? Tony Gibbs says, moon appears both ancient stuff as well as current-looking activity. I got to agree with you there, too. Mr. Seven Digits says, NASA is having a field day collecting this leftover ancient tech. I agree with you guys there. Josh D says, amazing pick. Yeah, I mean, again, he had just done this video and put this up. And again, I forget what magazine it was from Apollo mission, but he showed that, and I said, oh, we've seen this a million times. And don't mind me, you guys are making me hungry. One guy's talking about drinking, the other one's saying something about eating. So I'm eating a piece of chocolate. But anyway, so when I had done this photo, I said, my God, I got one that has the same structures, but different angle. And there you go. Let me see. All right, Mimi, good to see you there. You said I'm jumping off here. It was a pleasure. Good night, everyone. Sleep well and stay safe. Good night. All right, Mimi, thanks for joining us. As always, you have yourself a good weekend there, right? And be safe yourself. Pato, and the 2020 election totally legitimate. Oh, yeah. Stephen Wagner says, hi, Chris and everyone. A wonderful night for discovery. Absolutely. Not sure if that's Rary Montgomery. I still think of the Bell theory and ancient tech inside. Well, that's a good possibility. See, that's what people don't realize. They think, here's the thing. If you think about back in the 30s and 40s, right? Everything was crude. They were looking at, old cars, and we didn't have, everything was just so crude, right? And now everything's so sophisticated, high tech, the whole nine, right? Refreshing. But we know, like even today, our government is way ahead of us as far as our basically just the normal people like ourselves. So they're way ahead of technology compared to the civilians. So even in the 40s, they might have had technology that was probably closer to the 90s or 2000s. We don't know. We have no idea. So just because it was crude back then, people, you had some of these old cars and old houses and these old clunkety like light switches that had wires coming out of them and not buried in the wall like they're supposed to be like today. And I mean, just crazy stuff. You think about, no, there's no way they could have had that. How do we know that? We don't know. Again, public is always way behind technology as far as from the military and our space agencies and so on and so forth. We don't know. We have no idea. What is that? Oh, I guess this person's watching. They were asking how to support the channel. I've got the link at the top. I'm not going to say their name, but they got the link at the top there. It says Models, Anomalies, and Beyond is basically support. That's through PayPal, or you can go through the bottom here. Right there, you can see a little dollar sign at the back where it says you can comment or say something. I get this every now and then, guys. People will ask me that. They'll say, either through email, man, I'd love to support the channel, but I couldn't figure out how. Well, I try to make it easier if I can. Again, I got the link. It's pinned at the top of the comment section here. You can just click on that and support the channel that way. Or, like I said, you can go just underneath the say something there. There's a dollar sign. It says, show your support for Mars Anomalies and Beyond. So, let me see. Okay. Yeah, they said they got it. They understand. So they are watching it. Yeah, Alien Tenno, we were just saying that earlier. He said ancient civilizations speak of the time before the moon. I believe lunar is artificial. So Martians looking at the celestial body invading their hood. Who are these guys? They must be thinking, right, yeah. So, yeah, we don't even know. But I always thought about this. What happens if these little Martians, so to speak, if they are small, what are they thinking? If they see these things landing on their planet, if they're still alive. And it's a good possibility that they are. They're all underground, so they don't really come up above the ground, so they don't really care too much. But can you imagine if they are on the planet? It's like having something, if you look at the perspective, let's say I'm going to throw a number. They're 6 inches tall. I'm just throwing anything out here, right? Hypothetical. And then look at the rover at its tallest on its mast is 7 foot high. That would look gigantuan, like Godzilla to them. Now, picture something in that kind of scale to you. Something's about 70 foot high, looking down at you. It's a giant, probe or something, a giant rover or something like that. Wow. I mean, how do you even deal with that, right? It's crazy. Stephen French, you said your question was, so are we saying that there are beings living in the moon now, or are these ancient artifacts? Is there a city inside this hollow structure? The moon shouldn't be there based on science. Yeah, a lot of people are dumbfounded by the science, right? Where, when it comes to eclipses and all kinds of stuff like that, pretty much covers the sun. And just the size and sheer mass of the moon compared to other moons in our solar system to the parenting planet. So on and so forth, right? But I believe it's both. He said, are we saying that there are beings living on the moon now, or are these ancient structures? I believe it's a combination of both. At this point, I'm not really sure, though. I believe there's still activity on the moon. Some people have seen UFOs coming and going to the moon. And I'm not talking about the ones that see, like, like our own satellites, right? Because you can mistake those easily. Because, yeah, I mean, they're right there. And they're literally traveling at X amount of, basically like 17,000 miles per hour, like our ISS is. Or the geostationary, one of the two. But the thing about it is that I believe it's a combination of both. I think there were structures, kind of like here on Earth. We have ancient structures, and we have the most ultimately, intelligently designed, high-tech structures and stuff. And then you can go back to, like, even stuff older than, like the Mayans, the Egyptians, Toltecs, all of these people, right? You go way, way back and, go back like Tepe, just go back. And we have ancient stuff. Now, is some of this damaged on the moon? I believe that's the case, too. I've seen things that look like spaceships just laying on their side, like these weird craft, or I don't even know what the heck you'd even call them, but they weren't lunar surface. And they were just kind of laying off on their side. It looked like a giant container just laying off on the side. Just weird stuff, man. It's not something you would expect to see on the moon. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, Tony, yeah. He said the rovers do dwarf a lot of the mechanical things we see strewn about. Absolutely. Jerry Lahane, you said the Mars people in my pics average 6 inches to 5 feet tall. I can't even imagine that. That's such a drastic difference in like height-wise, right? So do the taller ones kick around the little ones like they're insects, or do they have them as pets? I that's weird to coexist with such a difference in height, right? I don't know. I don't know how that would work. Point Dexter, you said, hey, Chris, you're covering it awesome. Hexagon formations. Yeah, we get some really, really weird things going on, man. It just, yeah. Cool stuff. Louis Longbear, what's going on? Did you just get in here? Good to see you in here, man. And I do appreciate your support, as always. He said, hope you're doing well, Chris. The UFOs haven't invaded us yet. Hoping for a couple of days off. Off work. That would be good, wouldn't it? Everybody run home. We just seen a UFO. Hey, no skin off my back. See ya. Let me go out and get a couple cameras. Let me get my camera out. We'll just go ahead and have a look, right? Oh, yeah. Again, thank you, Louis Longbeard. Appreciate you. More 42 says same species. Yeah, I think you're asking because you're saying as far as the two difference in height on the Martians, right? I hate even using that term. It says Martians, like Marvin the Martian. Yes. So, yeah, I mean, I just find that weird that it'd be two different size people living on that planet, at least that extreme. It's one thing to be 6 foot and you got a kind of like when they call them pygmy people, like 4 to 5 feet. Not a huge difference, but when you're talking inches to that, that's kind of crazy. Ricardo, you take it off. He said, hey, folks, been a pleasure, as always, hanging out here tonight. I need to drop, unfortunately. Got an early start tomorrow. Thanks for being a great host, Chris. Well, thanks for being here, Ricardo, and your support, as always, brother. You have yourself a good weekend there, right? Be safe. We're also going to be jumping to... Let's see what we got here. We're just talking about this right here. At the top of the hour, pretty close to it. When we are talking about Turkey aims to send rocket to moon in 3 years. A land lunar rover by 2030. So I don't know where they get 3 years. It's, yeah, that'd be what, 24? But they're saying the rover there. But, these guys could do this much sooner depending on the technology and how fast it progresses, right? So that could very well be. I think it'll be sooner. Jerry Lahane said, Mars, small people seem more likely naked. That wouldn't be good. Big ones are just sitting there laughing at him. Yeah, I don't know. See, that's one thing. I actually had somebody get mad at me, too. Like, oh, how come you don't see these people in here? That's like, I don't because I just, maybe my mind is just wired differently. And I've said that to many folks. They're saying, oh, how do you not see the people and the faces and the statues? Sometimes I see statues or rocks that actually look like a statue head or a bust of a statue. And I agree when it comes to that. As far as people and faces, yeah, I've seen a couple things that kind of look that way. But I don't know. Like I said, maybe my mind is just not wired for that. And I see more mechanical and structural. You know, like we just looked at that moon photo. Amazon Prime Day. There you go. 2021, the best special deals to watch. Well, you can get a little rocket and all kinds of crazy stuff. Sweet. Space chat with space.com, exploring black holes. Yeah, I want to get on there. Hey, you want to show us the real photos instead of these blotched up garbage? On this day in space, June 18th, 1983, Sally Ride becomes America's first woman in space. Dark matter is putting the brakes on our Milky Way galaxy spin. Space startup launcher to fly an orbital platform filled with CubeSats on SpaceX rocket in 2022. You know, it makes you wonder. It's like, if you stop putting a whole bunch of these satellites out in space, now I understand it's for communication for around the world. I get that. But, you know, I'm sure there's military uses for it too. So they could probably have a camera on every single one that can access any single one of them they want to at any given time. And they can see what's going on in any country. Think about this a minute. Any country they want to. So if I was Elon and I put all of these satellites like a giant belt, if you will, around the Earth, I'm around a lot of countries. I'm over a lot of countries around the world. And if I get cameras on board too, I could just kind of look down and see what's going on and take pictures of whatever I want. And, you know, I'm sure there's military uses as well as geological. Who knows, right? And you can bet that they're doing this kind of stuff. But isn't it really weird? It's almost like they're trying to cause more traffic out there. So if you're looking out in space, you wouldn't be able to know if it's a CubeSat, one of our regular satellites, or an actual UFO. It's almost like there's like multi-purpose reasons why they're doing this stuff, right? Now, I do like the idea of having these CubeSats and basically communications all over the world so it can bring up the rest of the planet with the knowledge that's out there. So we don't have like maybe a quarter of the planet like out in these, you know, way out in these desolate areas that don't have a clue. But just by having satellite, you can actually see all this, right? And you can be brought up and your knowledge grows exponentially because you now have internet in an area where you never had it. So that would be pretty interesting. Former astronaut Pam Melroy, confirmed as NASA Deputy Administrator. Good. Let's jam her box with all kinds of, what do you call it, mail saying, yeah, tell us the truth. I should be like, I don't want this job. I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to have to pass. Born of God says China uses a dragon as its symbol. Iran has a dragon on its flag. And Erdogan respelled spells out, Erd and then red dragon, as that is where Babylon is located. Interesting. Good to know. Let's see. SpaceX launches advanced GPS satellite for U.S. Space Force. Sticks rocket landing at sea. Yeah, I got a kick out of this too. Mystery solved. Dust cloud caused Betelgeuse stars weird dimming. Study finds. Wasn't that the same one that they were trying to figure out? They thought there was some kind of like Tyson's Fair type thing in front of, and it was kind of like dimming it out and coming. Was that the same one, or was that something else? I know it was way out there. I forget exactly what it was. But either way, I mean, they always come up with something. Oh, it had to have been this. I mean, they're possible. They're right? It's very possible. Russia, China reveal moon base roadmap, but no plans for astronaut trips yet. China and Russia will start preparation work for their future lunar research station this year. And, of course, you got image credit to Roscosmos and CNSA, or the China Space Association. And that's pretty interesting. Blow it up a little bit. So, basically, a lot of these are going to be, like, autonomous. You can see where they got, like, the way they're relaying the information. They got a lander. They got a tower right here. And it's relaying to a satellite and then back to Earth. And, of course, they got all these other little, I don't know, like they look like robots autonomously walk around. They're all linked. Interesting. That's going to be like a greenhouse here on the left. China and Russia have invited international partners to join them in building a moon base, but revealed they don't plan to send astronauts to the moon in the next decade. Of course, a lot of this will change, guys, right? Depending on how technology advances. As far as I'm concerned, that just makes more sense. There's so many things that people have said, this will never come to be, at least not for X amount of years, and found out it's there much sooner. Yeah. The International Lunar Research Station, or the ILRS, will consist of a space station in lunar orbit, a moon base on the surface, and a set of mobile rovers and intelligent hopping robots. That's what you see right here on the lower right, stretching almost to the middle of the photo. I don't know why you'd have to have it hop, but okay. According to representative of Russia's space agency Roscosmos and China National Space Administration. So, speaking at a global space exploration conference, or GLEX, in St. Petersburg, Russia, on Wednesday, June 16th, Chinese and Russian space officials said they were already in negotiations with international partners, including the ESA, Thailand, the United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia, to join their endeavor. Of course, it's showing it here. You're going to say that's crappy. That's a 1080. That's a hair bit better. There we go. NASA unveils plans for Artemis Base Camp on Moon beyond 2024. Rather. Flying express. Sputnik. Oops. Let me move this page back up on the other computer here. David Gosling said, I feel the dust cloud theory is simply an attempt to diffuse popular excitement at the possibility of alien life. Their lives are so predictable and inane. Give it a year and they'll have another excuse. Oh, yeah, they'll say some other planet is now something else. It's just weird. Every time you turn around, every time they say, well, it could be this, it looks alien. And they don't really mean alien per se, but they mean like just, something that's not us or something like that, right? And they say, well, this is what we think is going on. Oh, no, that can't be. They automatically erase anything that has to do with maybe the chance of other life out there. Why is that? I often wonder why. It's like, is it because they feel people are going to be frightened? I mean, what's the deal? I mean, come on. At this point, people are not stupid. They probably have an inkling. I've asked people, I go, hey, so what do you think? Do you think, how would you feel if there's other alien life? They kind of laugh like, what about it? No, I mean, if you found out. Now, of course, that's kind of a generalized question, because if I said, if a giant spacecraft literally hovered over your whole town and is only like 300 feet off the ground, well, they'd probably say, well, I'd probably brown myself and run like hell. Or if you said it was like way out there, you can see it's like there's alien life on another planet, they go, oh, that's cool. But like I said, bring it close to home and what happens? There's a big difference, right? So, I don't know. Amora 42, you said, welcome to the modern space race. That's exactly what I believe it is. It's what it all comes down to. Why? It's like, how many years ago? What is this, like the last few years? Let's call it 5-10 years. Tops. Absolutely 10 years tops. This exploded. Absolutely exploded. Because after they went, after NASA went there back in, like I said, at least with a rover anyway, was back in 97 with the Sojourner rover. Went there. Of course, we had the Viking missions. They were gearing up since then to start all of these missions to go there because they saw something there they should not be seeing or that's not ours. And they said, we're good. Okay, sit down, build the technology for this. Let's go. That's basically what it comes down to. And now they've automatically said, okay, now we're going to hit every other planet or anything that may have other life or had other life, maybe structures. Maybe, this is the reason why they want to go to the ocean and some of these moons and so on and so forth. Maybe they believe there's other bases or whatever under the moon, or under their oceans, rather. Maybe under their ice, so on and so forth. Actually, I should have done this a while back, but I can do that. So anyway, so to me, it just seems like they know there's life out there. They just want to find it as much as they can of it. Because they just figure, if there's life on the moon, or there was, and it wasn't us, and there's technology there, then fine. Why don't we do this? Why don't we go to, oh, wait a minute, there's something on Mars. Oh, wait a minute, there might be something on this planet. And they just know it. And again, like I said, to me, I would just turn the Hubble Space telescope to any one of these planets and probably see like a flea on a buffalo's rear end from there. There's no atmospherics to cut through. It's right there in space, probably crystal clear on the surface. They can see whatever's on each of these planets or moons. And this is the reason why they're going there. It's exactly why they're doing it. Let me see here. Greg McDonald, Hubble could see a mite on a flea's rear end. Yeah. I mean, they say, well, you really can't use it for the solar system. Stop it. Stop. You know as well as I do, it can take anything, any photos here in the, in our solar system and way out there. It's very well adjustable, magnification, whatever. They can pretty much do all that. Come on. So, and I think NASA better really be scared if these guys team up between China and Russia. Oh, yeah. They better really get their crap together because I don't see that as good. I saw this. I don't know if you guys have seen this. This is from Mystery Wire. Lawmakers react to classified UFO briefing. Now, what I find interesting is what this one person says. Confessions of a UFO investigator. And, of course, he says Representative Sean Patrick Maloney, Democrat, New York, said, we take the issue of unexplained aerial phenomena seriously to the extent where that we're dealing with safety and security of U.S. military personnel or the national security interest of the United States. So we want to know what we're dealing with, right? What he says down here, I think it's important to understand that there are legitimate questions involving the safety and security of our personnel and our operations and our sensitive activities. And we all know that there's a proliferation of technologies out there. Representative Maloney added, we need to understand the space a little bit better. Yeah. So, and you can see what each of these are saying. Peter Welch is saying, gave a similar assessment saying, I'm not on the edge of my seat. I don't know what he means by that, but I guess he's not too excited about it, I guess. However, Republican, if I had to predict how the public will react to this, one word would be disappointing. That's pretty bad. So what is he saying? I mean, if you think about it, it's like, why would you expect him to be more? Do you know more? And in other words, he's saying, well, these guys are really not going to tell the whole story. So I don't think they're going to really be too excited about it. It's like almost like they know, but they're just saying what they're going to show the people is crap. I mean, I don't know. Gene Borsier said, you do not spend billions of dollars to send all this technology to Mars if you really believe the planet is dead or never had life on it. This includes Russia and China, not just the United States. Absolutely, I totally agree with you. I've said this many, many times. Nobody's going to spend that kind of money. Like I said, it's like, I use an analogy. If you had moved into a new place and it's by a lake, I mean it's a huge lake, right? You just happen to be out by the lake one day and somehow you're just looking around, you got some binoculars out just to look to see if there's any, wildlife on the edge of the lake or whatever. And you see this like building out there and you say, well, it kind of looks like it's, what do you call it? It doesn't look, it looks like it's abandoned. I don't ever see lights in it. So now you keep an eye on this thing to see if any lights go on. And you want to get over there and check it out, but there's no way to get over there. At least, well, you can probably rowboat it over there, but, you're looking and going, I don't know. You're going to do what you can to go check it out because you're just curious, right? And if it's something that doesn't look natural to you, meaning something somebody else built, or it looks like it's out of the norm, something that, you don't typically see, you're going to do everything you can to because you're curious and go have a look at it. Now, if it's just a regular house, it's dilapidated, you know what I mean? You go, oh, somebody left a house over there and it's just in ruins now. It's sad. And that would be the end of it. You wouldn't spend any money or even pursue it to go check it out even further unless there was A, something in it for you, or B, something interesting that you go, I've never seen nothing like this before in my life. So either you're curious and you want to check it out more, or there's something in it for you, or both, right? So, yeah, it doesn't just happen out of nowhere. Somewhere, somehow, and these guys are there for a reason. It's as simple as that. Jay McGuffey said humanity was only ever supposed to reach the heavens and death if we've been good, and that's the way our ET overseers would like it to stay. Well, I mean, the way I look at it is, I have no idea. I like how Elon Musk thinks that we need life on other planets in case a great catastrophic event happens here. We're in two areas. Now, is it possible? We get a civilization on there and it takes a hit again and wipes the planet out. We're still here. Now, if we have a good civilization going on over there and then all of a sudden a great catastrophic event happens here on Earth, we're still alive and well, meaning humans will still live on. Maybe they'll still live on here on Earth. They'll, get through all the ruins and repopulate again, rebuild, and yet Mars is still, thriving and doing well. And, of course, they don't want to stop there. They want to keep going to other planets if they can, and build other bases and so on and so forth. Because it's about preserving the human race. And I think it's a very smart thing to do. Now, of course, people argue, man, we need to take care of Earth first, which I totally agree with, too. I think it's sad that there's homeless people everywhere. But, let's send billions of dollars to go to Mars because God knows we're just going to find some more dust there and some more rocks on this dead planet. So we got to have it. Come on. I mean, so this is why just common sense would tell you that nobody. If it was just strictly the United States, okay, they're going to Mars and they're seeing these things on there and they're saying, hey, let's just say it's nothing there. It's just rock, and they are doing just legitimate work, and they're seeing like, well, there's a little permafrost under the soil, and there's nothing. We're just looking, and that is the absolute truth. Nobody'd find a reason to go there. There'd be United States is bringing us this information about Mars. No big deal. Next. And that'd be the end of it. That's not the case. Even countries, it's like countries are probably thinking about, hey, we never built anything to go to another planet, but let's team up with this other country. We'd like to send our own. Suddenly they want to go. They just want to spend, millions of dollars, billions of dollars to build something themselves to go there. For what reason? What is the purpose? It really does make you wonder. I don't know if you guys seen this either from the Black Vault. They actually put all of these photos, and of course this is from a FOIA, where they, you can see right here, declassified and approved for release in 2013, and it's on June 24th, and it says CIA, and of course it's got the ID number to it. Now, these are photos. You can see it right there, just above all of this. You can see the rooftop of some old building, some barbed wire and stuff, or telephone lines, one of the two. And of course you can see a plant here, but at the very top underneath those letters, you can see a UFO. I don't know why when they made these, and I've seen this photo before, and it did not look like this. It's like they put it through a printer, just made it strictly black and white, again, with the crappiest, resolution possible. UFO on the right, and one next to the Eiffel Tower here on the left. Why aren't these clear? I've seen better photos of this, and it was back in the 50s. Right here. These look like more cloud formations than anything else. Some weird balloon type thing. I'm not sure what that is. Excuse me. These two pieces here, you got one here, a circle, and one there. This reminds me back in the day, was in another country where they had the Foo Fighters, they called them. I don't know if that was, what was that? Soviet Union? Was it? Or was that Germany? What was that? I can't remember what it was. But had their planes like that and had these Foo Fighters, they called them. Foo Fighters. Not sure what this blotch is. Supposed to be a UFO, I guess. But then they get into talking about space, gravity, and the flying saucer. Mirage or fact. And then, of course, I'm talking about the, what do you call it right here? What was it? The Hannibal, I think it was. Major dimensions of a flying saucer obtained by analysis of the, and I can't see what that is, photograph, something, photographs. Aerodynamics of the disc. And this is basically talking about the inner workings, author's impression of a sectional view of a scout ship. This was way over a town. You can see that right there. But it's like they let it out, but it's just crappiest copies they can possibly find. And they put it in black and white and really crappy kind of, resolution kind of thing. Photograph of a flying saucer taken in Brazil. The lower side appears to be twice the size of a DC-11 airplane. Let me just a little bigger. Photograph of a flying saucer over Brazil. This looks like an airplane facing the camera. What? Oh, it looks like an airplane facing the camera. But there's a flying saucer taken sideways. I don't know how it can be taken sideways. A flying saucer is just a disc. But anyway, it first attracted the attention of the photographer because it moved sideways. Because it moved sideways. Again, it's a saucer. How do they know which way it's really going? I mean, unless it's like some kind of insignia or a tail fin, how do you know which direction it's really going? Yeah, Tony gives. Yep, Foo Fighters were following our bombers over Germany in World War II. Kemper 101 says that's the McMinnville, a photo from the 50s. Now keep in mind, whoever designed these, or if they are in fact otherworldly, if it's us, these are back in the 50s. Somewhere even late 40s, even 40s. So, and of course we have ancient civilizations talking about flying things in the sky. So, but let's say recent. And when I say recent, I mean in the last 70, 80 years. But when you look at stuff like this, you go, okay, that was back then. What do they have now? Even if it was something we built, you can bet it's a lot better. Anti-gravitics, so much better. Technology like really streamlined, just a whole lot better. Come on. Not sure what that mess is supposed to be. Again, I don't understand why even if these back in 50s, I've seen better looking photos as this in the 50s. Now, I remember this one here had one turbine, United States Air Force and stuff like that, and they were messing with this. One was a something car. Remember that? Where the pilot was on one side, and there was one that had like two pilots. There was one on each side of this turbine, and then there was one that had just one, and they called it a Eurocar or some weird thing, where the thing really never took flight because it's like, oh, wow, I'm sure many of you guys seen that video where the thing was just kind of bobbing and weaving and kind of hitting the ground a little bit. Oh, we called it off. They're not going to stop there. Come on. They might have scrapped that particular model, but that doesn't mean they just gave up. You can bet on that. Yeah, Joe Night Fury, you said it looks like an airplane facing you on that picture. Yeah, and it does. It does actually. Looks like it has that wingspan type thing going on. But it just goes to show you these weird looking, either they were things they plan on building, but you can see where they have the inlets here in the front. And then, of course, you got the exhaust out the back like mini turbine engines. And they were building these things, but they're not flying saucers typically what we see. A typical flying saucer people have seen is like it's in the sky, moves to the left, moves to the right, goes up and down. I mean, just crazy movements. This is something crude that we're building. So let's suppose it's ours, and again, you can just imagine the technology they have now compared to what it was back then. So you can almost bet if they built it, streamlined it, perfected it, we can probably go to Mars in a half hour. I mean, just probably blazing speeds. Oh, I love these. These are the best. Unidentified object seen over the sky in Helsinki, Finland in September 1954. But it just goes to show you, 1954. It's almost like, it seems like it's our stuff, guys. It's our stuff. Now, is it possible that there's others out there as well, coming from somewhere else? Yes. But I think a lot of this is built by us. Now, here's the thing. You have to question this. Is it possible, because we know it's on other planets, they're building these things for that reason, so they can go back and forth to these planets with ease to really check out the technology that's on there, meaning other civilizations that lived on other planets. And this is our way to get there quickly instead of taking years upon years to get to a certain planet or another solar system or whatever. And this is the reason why they built these things, not so much to scare other people in other countries, but to actually build them to go to other worlds. And they're perfecting the propulsions and everything else on them. And this is maybe one of the reasons why they've done it. Mr. Seven Digits said, I think it would have been relatively easy for the Germans to get these ships working, giving all the evidence in India, schematics evidence of these craft left behind by a super civilization and so forth. Yeah, because, I mean, we knew that Hitler was going to India and they were going to other places too. He's been to Antarctica. He's been everywhere to try and get, what's really going on. He was really wanting to see any kind of technology he could find, right? And like the Vimanas and the ancient writings in India, where they were talking about. That's weird. I'm just reading something on here on this phone here. Let me see here real quick. Go on. me see. All right. Okay. Cool. All right, we're back. Okay, we got that. But like I said, Hitler was doing that. He was always doing something like that, going to these ancient civilizations, reading up everything he could about ancient writings and so on and so forth. For that reason, he wanted to be the superpower. There you go. It's as simple as that, right? Sketch of saucer seen over East Malvern in Victoria, Australia on May 31st, 1954. Observers were David Rees and 5 friends. Mr. Rees, who made the sketch, says, I could distinctly see inside it dark shapes like bust, enlargement of top of the sketch. Yeah, I guess at the top of the sketch. Not sure, but yeah, why is every one of these super grainy as hell? Like he's showing it right here, like there's like bust of statues, but of people instead. And you can distinctly see that. Pretty interesting. This unretouched photo. That makes sense. Unknown black objects leaving trail behind it was taken. You can't see the whole thing. You can see it right here. I guess it is like a little. I mean, these could have been crude UFOs back in the day, right? Where they're using turbines, so they're leaving back like raw fuel coming out of the engine, right? So that could have been, back then, our UFOs. Again, what I find interesting is that when we talk about the UFOs, we're seeing that the government is supposed to be, divulging this information. I find it interesting that every one of them is a piece of crap. It's either night vision, infrared. It's always something that it's not clear. And that's why I don't fall for that crap. I don't. Show me a good, clear photo of the military taking this, and I'll believe it. Josh D. Yep, you're absolutely right. The Vimanas are in the Vedas. What the Veda text is what they are. There's a Veda book dedicated to them. Yep. Talking about how they had Mercury and how they, the spinning mechanisms and stuff like that, and you can create an anti-gravitics kind of thing going on. And don't think for a moment he wasn't all over that. Talking about Hitler, of course. David Clark said, dang, this is an awesome hangout, but I'm off to catch some NBA playoffs. Have a great weekend, you all. All right, Dave, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Hopefully the team you're rooting for wins. But anyway, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. And have a good weekend there, right? Somebody just said, hey, John Che. I didn't know he snuck in there. Where's he at? Let me see. James Cragen. I didn't even see this one here. This thing must have jumped on me here. Chris, what about the pyramid-shaped flying object flying over the Kremlin and the Pentagon? It was huge if it was real. It's on a presentation of Russian UFO researcher on YouTube. Well, the thing is, was it in like a normal photo? Was it in infrared or was it night vision? I mean, it's always something other than just a natural photo, if you guys notice. Again, I want to see something from the military or somebody else taking one that's so pristine or pretty darn close, right? Because everybody always says, they always laugh about it and say, what they do, take it with a potato? Because a lot of times that's what they are. They're garbage photos, ain't worth the darn. And that's why I don't believe what they're saying here. I believe a lot of this. Well, what was the Pentagon saying? What was some of these people saying? They were saying, well, we don't have any proof to believe that it's, anybody else's, meaning otherworldly, but we're not ruling that out. So in other words, they're still on the fence. They're still leaving you on the fence. They're not saying yay and they're not saying no. So I think it's a bunch of trash. Yeah, it's like they inverted these pictures. What the hell is the reason for that? Again, yeah, we'll give you the information. Don't worry. Of course, we'll skew it big time. But yeah, we'll give you the information. Look at this. Come on now. So they actually inverted these photos. These are rooftops. They should be all black, and the rest of it should be white. This is probably a daytime photo, and they're showing you just the opposite. Look at this airplane. What? Oh, they said they didn't say they wouldn't give you the information. Oh, they gave it to you, all right. Look at this. I'm not even sure what to make out of half of these. What did it say? Can't even describe it. Can't even make out what that looks like or says. Yeah, to me, I mean, I want to see something that looks more realistic. Again, what is the point in all this? This looks like it's been inverted. Put it to low res and then invert the photo. That's what it looks like to me. Larry Fisher, yeah, great question. He said, who says they need oxygen? Absolutely. And like I said, we make the assumption. If it is, in fact, other beings flying these saucers, which something tells me, because here's the thing, let's back up. We know that they say some people say that it's, a UFO or a disc shape would fly better through the air than a plane itself. Now, some argue that is not the case, that they do not fly well in a saucer form. But you can go in any direction, at least if you have the engines or whatever set up properly, that you can shift from any direction you want to. So in other words, if you're using a plane, obviously you got the tail rudder and everything else, and you got to fly a certain. You can only go straight, right? With a UFO, you can go in any different direction. And I think this is the reason why they were trying to build these, so they can switch in any direction they want to. Man could build this. I don't think it's far-fetched. I think they could still build this. Again, here we go in the 50s. This mysterious object was photographed in the summer of 1953 over Bad Hersfeld, Western Germany. The top pic shows the lower disc enlarged about 35 times. As well be noticed in, it appears to have a cupola near the center and another protuberance near the sight, the right rim, right? All right, so they're talking about right here, and then I guess the other one's way over here. So the top photo shows it right up here. It's been magnified pretty much, or zoomed in. Again, completely crappy photo. Even for 1953, they had decent photos. Even though they were black and white, they still had decent photos. Listen, we could easily build that. Now, back in the day, might have been super crude, but that doesn't mean they couldn't get it off the ground. And for all we know, Roswell might have been one of those failed wannabe UFOs and it crashed. Who knows? Or, like they say in when you had the Roswell, they said we reverse engineered it. Maybe we just didn't perfect it and crashed it. You know what I mean? So it might have been something we built. It's just we couldn't perfect it and it crashed, and that was the end of that. And of course, the military tried to cover it up. So, yeah, I'm not sure what that is. Well, that's what they're always looking for. Les Singleton, he says, so there's no heat signature from the, I think you meant UAPs. But the the way I look at it is this: the way they describe it is sometimes they can, depending on the what's the word I want to use. It's either the frequency that they're taking the photo at, whether it be infrared, whatever they use to try to figure this thing out or look at it. Sometimes you can see what looks like almost like a vibration, if you will, around it, or like a force, so to speak. But as far as heat signatures, a lot of times they said they don't see it. Now, sometimes they do see them. I guess it depends on which one you're talking about. But, yeah, I find it really interesting how many of these things, they look like something we could build. I mean, like I said, show me something that hasn't been, that it's not in the darkness. Oh, they got to take it in a different camera setting. Just a normal photo would be great. Again, it all happens to be in the 50s. You notice that? A week later, on the 4th of March, 1951, the Sunday, and of course he referred again to this sighting and reproduced a sketch of a mysterious object as under the newspaper made the following comments: flying in a cloudless sky over Mount Kilimanjaro, of course, Tanganyika, Captain Jack Bicknell, pilot of a passenger plane bound for Mombasa, said saw through binoculars, metallic, bullet-shaped object, which must have been more than 200 feet long. The Sunday Dispatch last week gave a detailed report of this flying saucer's sighting, the most authentic so far on record. And yet, I don't see anything that looks, it's a drawing, of course it does say that. Where's the photos at? Show me a photo. When he brought the plane down, Captain drew a sketch of what he had seen. The diagram above was prepared from Captain. Now sketch shows the large object attached to the rear. So it looked like a giant bullet. Okay. This is the one that said photograph of flying saucer taken in Brazil. The lower side appeared to be twice the size of a DC-11 airplane. Objects flying in formation at a tremendous speed at an altitude of 12,000 feet. Photograph from his car by Mr. J.J. Jansen near Morristown, New Jersey, USA. So they're screaming incredibly fast, but yet he got a photo of him. He just happened to be looking up there. The flying egg observed over the Guagnon, I'm not even sure how to pronounce that, on October 6, 1952. Again, all in the 50s. It's almost like whoever was designing these things, put them together, they were like putting these things out all over the place, just testing them and flying them around, having a great old time with them. That's the only thing I can think of. Let me see. Michael Stark said the only other really clear footage was a French guy recording in the daytime of a craft morphing and glowing. It was funny because his kid was nagging him, but the guy was freaking out at what he was recording. Well, to me, like I said, it always seems like, and don't get me wrong, these things are usually high up in the sky, right? So a lot of people have to zoom in. So what happens when you zoom in? Usually the picture falls apart anyway. The only way you can actually do it is with a telephoto lens and be able to zoom into this thing with great ease and literally see this thing crystal clear. And even then, depending, if the thing's sitting still in the sky, great. You get all kinds of photos. But it's kind of like, remember it was in Las Vegas where they had that those UFOs that are like in this V formation? Again, it's in the dark. How do we know what these things were? Show me in the daylight. It's like, if they're that brazen to actually show themselves flying around our planet, then they should be able to do it. They should be able to do this during the day. What's the big deal, right? That's what I think. Let me see. Kemper 101 says TR3Bs. Oh, yeah. Pat Owen, you said the 0 Point energy scientist could do it. Forgot his name. Well, I'm sure they're all over this stuff. And like I said, even if they haven't perfected it, they got it so down pat that they can pretty much do anything now. Top dome. The top dome did not rotate. Hull shown up by the top dome light rays. Light rays from aperture. Dark gray hull against intense black sky. Very prominent band, much lighter in color. This drawing reproduced in courtesy of, of course you can't see the whole thing, was copied by a member of the papers. Yeah, it's my sister's dog's father's uncle actually took this photo with a banana peel. So I hope you guys can see what this is. UFO in flight, the CBS television news program carried this picture of a suspected unidentified flying object last night. It was made by Deputy Sheriff David Fitzpatrick of Washington County, Michigan, using of course it's kind of, looks like a Minox camera mounted on a tripod with a 12-minute exposure, 9.5 mil film at 13.5. So, oh, look, a bird. What are they giving us here? That's not a photo, that's a blotch. What was this? Why does this look familiar? Oh, it reminds me of what group was that? That music group. It looks like Vandenberg or something like that. They had that kind of design. Pretty funny. Oh, let me see. Yeah, I remember this. The wing craft that everybody was like firing upon and everything else. The servicemen were down there. They go, see how they inverted that? So they're inverting these photos. For what reason? So you really can't make out too many details as to what we're seeing here. This one here, oh, wait a minute. This one was seen in August 1947. But you notice how every time you see one of these UFOs, they look cruder and cruder as the years are earlier? You would think some kind of UFO, if it was otherworldly, would look like something you've never seen. It wouldn't look so crude like a couple of tops of trash cans flying in the sky. I mean, it looks weird. Luminous cigar shape was observed at midnight in July 1952 by some tobacco something or other hired hand. Oh, there's my hand drill went. Come on. Am I the only one that's kind of laughing at some of these things? Thick, rugged saucer has been seen by, I guess it's Pilot Supersonic Laboratory in May 1942. Yes, Pat. Burning hot. It was Vandenberg, actually, not Brandenburg, but it was Vandenberg. Yeah. I think that was their best tune they had out. But definitely needed more notoriety, that band. I think they were pretty darn good. Yeah, you got it now. Pete Vlog says Towers. Let's see. You could try it, Michael. You said I have a YouTube link of that clear UFO footage. Can I drop it here? You could try, see if it does it. Sometimes it'll block you out. I'll see if I can actually undo it so you can actually see the link. But sometimes you can't. I know which one you're talking about, Max K. You said I was watching that woman, not naming, showing these ships next to the sun. Then she started all of this sexy dancing. LOL. Thought what the? Oh my God! I know who you're talking about too. But that, you gotta admit, that kind of looked real. The way she showed, like from a distance, you could see. And was that from the Soho camera or was that from something else? She said she recorded, I think. Yeah, it was really weird. Yeah, pretty much, Jay. You said they're all conspiracies until proven, and all involved are dead. Yeah, pretty much, right? Like I said, we could see through a lot of these photos, the stuff we're seeing on the moon, the stuff we're seeing here on Mars, and they'll say, it's your pareidolia. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Needle-nose rocket was observed by pilots and passengers in an airliner in July 1948. But if you notice, again, it's inverted, and it looks like exhaust coming out of this thing. Again, why would any high-tech civilization have something looking like that? Come on. No way. I think this is ours. And let's say, for argument's sake, people get disappointed and go, oh, I thought there was UFOs from way out there. I think they're all here. I think majority are made here. Now, is it possible we have people visiting us? I think so. But I think the majority of what we're seeing is something we've built. That's not necessarily a bad thing, guys. Like I said, we're doing it for space exploration. Yeah, I was right. I almost thought I was saying it wrong there for a second. But it's made there. They may be making these for more space exploration, and the reason why you're seeing them in the sky is they're test flying these things. What better way to fly them? You don't want to go out in space yet until you know this thing can actually fly and stay flying. So you're flying around, people are seeing you, oh, wow, we're going to tell the government and all this other crap, and it's just ours, you know? Again, because the way they inverted this would have been light, like an exhaust coming out of it, like a white or maybe a grayish, but they inverted this. It's probably a white craft and a darker sky, but they inverted the darn thing. God, I hate when they do crap like that. Again, they're showing you the photos, but they're giving you garbage. It's like, yeah, declassified. Yeah, it's declassified, all right. 1952. Yeah, I don't know. Again, what is this crap? It looks like a collection of things that people have seen, the drawings they sent into the government, so on and so forth, and other photos. And they did everything they can to make these look like the crappiest things, so you can't really see any kind of value to it. I remember, I think I seen this photo with the UFO up in the sky here, going through this truck window. Yeah. Again, make it look like crap. This luminous object photographed in Sweden at the time of the operation. Main brace resembles. Can't make out what it looks like meteor, but it moved at a low speed and in a capricious course. Huh. This one here I've seen a million times. Again, inverted. Yeah, this is supposed to be those. You guys were just talking about this in here, and there's like 3 of these look like half ball type things on this craft. 1, 2, and then the other one's on the other side. And this was made by Germany, where they had, it looked like guns coming out of the middle of this, so on and so on. Again, man-made. This, the third of the telescope series of pictures made on 13th December 1952, gives a detailed view of one of the 3, and of course you don't see the rest of it. Yeah. I bet you guys could just take a screenshot of this and just invert this and you'll see the real photo. Venusian flying saucer, the second telescope picture taken at Palomar Gardens, California at 9:10 a.m. 13th December 1952, as the saucer was rising, shows the underside arrangement. And again, here's that 3 ball type thing. 1, 2, and then 3. And like I said, I seen one with the Nazis on there where it had like guns coming out of the very center of this. And I think there was like portholes at the top too. So it's just really, really weird. I think what we're seeing in these 1950s is all built by man. And think about it. If you could build something that nobody else has ever seen on this planet, you're going to think it's otherworldly. It's as simple as that. So you're going to be like, who do I blame for this? How do we know this is whoever's? You know, unless, of course, they have like their own insignia on there. But other than that, you're just going to look at that and go, what the hell? And you're going to right off the bat think, you know, maybe it's otherworldly and not, you know, Germany or some other country. Photograph taken in Salem, Massachusetts by Coast Guard Shell Arpert. It looks like it's just like, I don't know if it's cut off. These 4 flying saucers suddenly had disappeared, then seemed to emerge from space again in increased luminosity. The photograph taken by Mr. Barney Wayne, manager of the photographic studio in Bulawayo, southern Rhodesia, shows the flying saucer traveling above the principal street of town. So you got one there, and you can see the town there. Again, inverted. And, of course, we got right here. That was the one in Salem, Mass. What is that? What the? Ever cover a way of distinguish between human blood and paper and identify the. What the? I don't know why that makes any difference. I don't know what that is. White hot red spot on the lower spine. Thermogram right indicates a slip disc. How is this a UFO? I'm a little confused. But, I mean, you guys will get this PDF. It's pretty interesting. And again, this is page 150. This is the very last one. Some of them are pretty interesting. Like I said, you'd have to take some of these things and actually invert these yourself because they're basically crap. But that's from the Black Vault. And they're getting these, don't get me wrong, it's not from the Black Vault. It's from getting this from the FOIA. And had them release this. And you can see it right there, declassified in 2013. So I think it's really interesting. I mean, before we hang this up, guys, what do you guys think this is? Do you believe that these are mostly ours, or do you think a lot of them are from otherworldly? What do you guys think? Bush Corey, I didn't even see you jump in there, my man. And it's probably because I've been looking over these photos, so my apologies for not seeing you in there. But I think you said you're leaving. But thanks for stopping in anyway. I definitely appreciate you, you know. Good to have you here. John Che's in there. I seen you in there earlier. I'm not sure they cover up. I'm sure they cover up the proof anyways. Yeah, pretty much. Exactly. I guess it's Juvaz 95. Why is it that they had to go dig up some old microfiber files to hand over instead of using some more modern reports? And I totally agree with you. I think it's complete crap. But again, if you go back, the more you go back in years, see how more and more they look crude? That tells me, you know, you look at the difference between those old ones we just saw and you look at the Tic Tac. I mean, it's like we've progressed so much as far as technology. I think they're ours. But that's just my personal opinion. Now, again, is there other things in our skies that we probably can't identify? Absolutely. But I think the majority of what we're seeing now, it's all ours. And it's all the way back to the 40s and 50s. And it makes sense when we started to, our technology started getting more, just better and better. And, you know, and that's it. I mean, it's what it comes down to. Michael Mertes, he said, hey, Chris, what a surprise to our enemy. If we are more advanced than they think, loose lips sink ships. They're not going to tell. Well, pretty much. And again, they could fly around. Like they're telling us right now, oh, this UFO has been seen flying around, you know, such and such a place. Now, let's say I'm this evil country and I want to build this UFO and I'm going to make sure nobody knows where this thing comes from. And then people start saying, yeah, I seen it over my country and I seen it over my country. I can go anywhere I want to. Because it's not a traditional craft like your regular fighter jets or long-range planes or jets. All you see is these just weird craft that nobody else knows. It's kind of like saying when you see a Chevy go down the road, I don't care if it's a Malibu, a Spark, whatever, you just know that make. I can tell from a distance that's a Chevy Spark or that's a Malibu or that's an Impala and that's a this and that's a that. You know what they are. But what happens if something strange comes out? Totally different. You've never seen it. There's not a mark on the car. No make, no model number, no nothing on it, but it just comes out, looks so futuristic. How would you be able to tell who made it? Unless, of course, you got inside info. How would you know? Same thing with this craft. They build that. They can fly anywhere. And people say, yeah, I've seen that same UFO. We don't know who it is or what it's from or where it's from, rather. It makes perfect sense to do that. So now they can go freely wherever they want to, and nobody's going to point the finger at a certain country because they don't know where it's from. So at least that's just my guess. Pete's Vlogs, he said, did they end up declassifying some UFO documents? I think it's supposed to be, was that the 20th this month, guys? 25th, somewhere in there? Jay McGuffey said, the FOIA was a breadcrumb. Well, yeah, pretty much. Valerian, the Mac 3, what's going on? Didn't even see you jump in there. I don't know if you even... Did you leave it there? Michael, did you leave it? I didn't see the... Chris, check out this footage link. What do you think? Real? Was it above that particular comment? Because I'm not seeing it. Hold on, let me go back a little bit. What's going on there, War Crime? Good to see you in there. FC Mackin, I think it was Frank, I think it is, the first person. And you said they're ours. I believe they are. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing the link. Gene Borsia, you're right. He said, Chris, looking at all of this old technology, it reminds me of a vacuum tube. LOL. We went from tubes to laser cut micro transistors in such a short time. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had, like I said, I talked about where they had, I don't know if you remember that, it looked like almost like a giant Fitbit, right? Or these iPhone watches type things, where it was a small TV back in the 80s. But it wasn't the whole thing in the TV. It had like a cord coming out. I think it was for the audio. And it went into like almost looked like a Walkman. And then, of course, it went to your headphones. But you can watch a TV on your wrist back in the 80s. So you can imagine the technology that's so small that it can do that. So, and then they went to surface mount, components. I mean, everything's so micro now. Come on. They can build this stuff. And I don't think, like I said, you go back in the years, why do these UFOs look so crude? Because they're ours. It's as simple as that. So, and now if you see these weird-looking, sophisticated, high-tech-looking UFOs, it's because we perfected them. We've gotten a lot better with it. At least that's the way I look at it. Paul Cargo says, hey, y'all. What's going on, Paul? Let me jump all the way down here. Noodles, you said next jump in tech imminent. Oh, yeah. James Cragen, thank you again for your support, brother. Appreciate you. Said any sightings before 1920 couldn't be ours, right? Let's not forget that. And contrary to belief, we might have designed all of the man-made craft scene. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's talks about it in ancient civilization where they talked about flying things in the sky and just weird things going on, right? So I believe there's still UFOs from out there, but I think a lot of these, you're seeing these pictures, these are ours. These are absolutely ours. I think they were just crude UFOs. They were trying to get them to fly, and who knows if it wasn't, like I said, when we had Roswell, I believe that was one of ours. And I think, and they said, well, they found, beings on there. So I'm 50-50 on there as far as that. But it could have been something we back-engineered. We tried to fly it and crashed it. Kind of makes sense. And just remember where it was at, in Nevada, right? So, wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, Jay. Egotistical political bullshit. Yeah, pretty much. Purisim 316, he said Anunnaki. Well, like I said, a lot of these ancient civilizations talked about spacecraft and some of them that have come from other planets. Yeah. So I believe we're still being I'm not going to use the term invaded because that's what the government's trying to make it look like. I believe that they've been visiting. I think they're just checking out the planet. I think they're observing us. And then we're trying to be just like them. Because think about it. If you can build something, anti-gravitics, shield yourself against, like radiation, so on and so forth, and you can build the perfect craft, you can go to any planet in our solar system within hours. Not months, not years, minutes, hours, and get there. So you don't have to worry about, I'm going to be out in space too long. I'm going to have, atrophy in the muscles. I'm not going to have all this kind of crazy stuff going on. I'm going to be there in hours. It's like taking a road trip to, wherever, along, like a 7-hour ride, and you can just get there in no time. Take a look around. Okay, boom, back again. I mean, whoever's got that technology is the man. It's as simple as that. Max K said John Lear said that there was 39 planets in the in the universe. Not sure. Does he mean like civilized people on it, or Kemba 101? You said Roswell and the Right. Good book. I've heard of it, never read it though. So, sure, it's got a lot of interesting stuff in there. Pat Owen, you said, I virtually believe everything I read, hear, or see. Well, yeah, virtually. But I mean, it's kind of like you got to analyze it yourself. You can't just automatically assume that, it's real. You got to say, listen, is it ours or is it theirs? I mean, again, you see the newest UFOs out there. They look so much more sleek and so much, they got maneuverabilities that, you never thought possible. But if you look back at those things, I remember seeing a video of some old UFO years ago, and it looked like some old clunky piece of trash. I mean, it's like it barely moved. It was kind of bobbing and weaving, and it just looked sad. Like somebody was testing some new product, and it was junk. I mean, let's be honest. Now you got these things that are zigzagging. You got these Tic Tacs flying all over the place, and let me put this back on, and. Again, now you see it now, they're so much more sleek and sophisticated. Oh, well, makes sense to me, right? We just made them better, perfected them. James Cragen said, Chris, in 1942, there was 40 to 50 transistors in a radio. Now we have over 2 to 3 million in a normal iPhone. Plus, after Roswell, we got fiber optics and night vision. That's a big jump. What do you think, man? Yeah, absolutely. Because that's what they said, right? They said they reverse engineered where they had fiber optics come from this UFO. And it wasn't long after, I think the public microwave was basically brought out. There was so many things that actually came about through technology, whether it's our military building this for military needs, but then it gets watered down. Hey, we can use that as something for the household. So, of course, it's kind of redesigned for the household use. So, absolutely. Actually, they used to be like, I remember seeing like 16 transistors in a radio. That was it. They were very crude, very, some of them were hybrids or things like that. They had B tubes and that. And then they become so they had the hybrids, and then they went to all solid state. So there's all transistor and resistors, all kinds of good stuff in there. And then now you look at the inside of a radio now, it has like one chip in it, like IC chip in it. And there's a couple of little components. That's the whole radio. I mean, it's sad. I mean, it's that sad. Like I said, this alone, this is supposed to be a shortwave radio. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. Now, look at the size of this. Something's trying to come in right there. Look at the size of this thing. It's in my hand. Shortwave radios are huge back in the day. Oop, let me get back to this. Okay. I shut the bag off. What's really cool about the technology has come so far. I'm going to end up dropping this. It's come so far that, like I said, if you wanted an old, like a Panasonic, like an Oceanic, one of those old, even Helicraft or any of that sort, these shortwave radios, they were big and bulky. This thing does 10 times, 100 times that radio will ever do. And it fits in the palm of my hand now. And they make them even smaller. I've got a couple of them that one's like it's like this little cigarette pack. And it's got a lot better sensitivity to it. It's got a lot better everything to it compared to the old clunky stuff. But now, I mean, the technology is so advanced. My God. Who just said that? This thing just jumped on me here. Wait a minute. Yeah, I was just going to say that because I didn't see the link. So I don't know, Michael, I don't know what the hell the deal is here. You can always send it to my email, marsanomalies@aol.com. And what I'll do is I'll check it out. And then, well, I was going to say, and then, I'll check it out. I mean, obviously, I don't think if it's something from YouTube itself, they probably won't let me play it on my channel. But I'll check it out. That's all I can do, right? Long Island, New York, 1395 says ancient aliens visited Earth and brought us stone workers. Actually, I think according to ancient civilizations, a lot of them, like the Sumerians, things like that, where they said that they actually, we went from like Neanderthals banging on like rocks and stuff to what we are today. We evolved a lot faster, a lot quicker than what we would have done naturally. At least that's what some scientists say. Like there's like this huge leap in our brain, evolving and stuff like that. How we just leapfrogged like from one, kind of like hitting stones together, rock, to what we are today. So they were trying to figure out how did that happen, like just jump that far. So, yeah, I don't know. But either way, I mean, it's like, that's crazy, right? Alfie Joe Bob, what's happening? I didn't even see you get in there. So RCA New Vistas? Miniature vacuum tubes. Yeah, I mean, they've got them too, of course. They even got vacuum tubes. I got a small amplifier it's a hybrid. It's got preamp tubes. They got 2 preamp tubes, and of course you go to digital output. But so they still use tubes. I'd rather have a tube set anyway. Just a lot more, more natural sounding music, if you will. More vibrant as far as I'm concerned. But so yeah, I prefer that. But you can see how far we've come. If you look at the first computers, like it would take up this room I'm in and then some. So now you got a computer that fits on your wrist. I mean, it's crazy. And your iPhone had more power, probably 3 times more power, if not 10 times more power than the crude computers I had back then. It's just crazy, right? Les Singleton says 90 degrees turns at warp speed is pretty impressive. Yeah, well, depending on the atmosphere inside the UFO, right? And you probably don't feel that inertia, because if you did, you'd probably be slapped up and pretty much splashed against the wall, like done. Pat Owen says, yes, I love technology, but not as much as you see. But still, I love technology always. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. We use technology every day, right? No matter what it is you use, you're going to use some kind of technology. So, and I love it. It's great. A lot of it's got a lot of good uses to it. And, of course, it depends on what you like. Like I said, I could be sitting here going through some photos, listening to shortwave around the world, and, I enjoy doing that. Sometimes you won't see me touch a thing for a month, you're always trying to find new stuff. That's just the way I am. I'm either buying new toys or I'm just upgrading what I have. So it's kind of like yourself. Like you say, well, this TV's been played out. I've had it for 8 to 10 years. Time to get a new one. It's not that you've got like 40 TV sets in your house. It's just that you just want to upgrade. You just want to get something a little bit better. Maybe sell it off to somebody, the other one you had cheaper, and they can still put it to use. So that's the way I look at it, right? H-1AV, way smaller than my old Drake rig. Well, even the Drakes, a lot of the Drakes, the modern ones were pretty small, right? They weren't but like this big. I mean, of course, they were expensive as heck, but they were a decent front-end receive on those things, depending on the filters you had and everything else, right? But yeah, the old Drake rigs, yeah. They were monstrous. James Cragen said UFO at Chernobyl, Part 2. It was witnessed by hundreds of people who were saying that it was stopping the number 2 reactor from explosion. It's being documented by many different interviews in Russia. Yeah, I heard about the same thing. Either they're doing something like that or they're shutting down the silos. One of the two. Yeah. Pretty cool. Oh, Pat, you can still get those on eBay, but you got to pay a pretty penny for those. Those are pretty cool. I actually had a couple of those back when I was younger. He said I missed those watches with the red digital numbers. Yeah. I forget exactly what they call the display on them, but they're pretty cool. John Shea, he said, funny on Iron Sky with the iPhone. That's not a computer. This is a computer, and it's a room the size of a battleship with hundreds of valves. Oh my God, that's funny. I think I started watching that. I never did watch that whole thing. I need to. Jay McGuffey said they may not return as we are too militant towards them, so they are sitting back, letting us destroy each other. No, I don't think they want that to happen. I think they want us to thrive, but they're not letting us go like thermonuclear or something like that to the point where we're destroying the planet, right? So they're saying, well, we have hope for you guys, but you're going to have to, the prime objective here is just to let you guys do your thing, and but we're not going to let you stop putting the stuff out in space, because it's got the space treaty. We're not going to let you do any of that, but yeah, we don't mind if you kind of kill off a few thousand of you here and there, but don't put anything out in space. But we're going to see if you guys can make it, and who knows, right? H-1AV, I still have my 1976 Ti. No kidding. Texas Instrument digital watch. Those are neat. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Greg McDonald said the 7-segment red LED. Yep. Yeah, the old Timex, right? Takes a licking and keeps on a ticking. Yep. Texas Instrument. Absolutely. I remember I had the old, and they still got them today, but I remember the old calculator watch. I'd be in school like, yeah, let me see this here. But again, a calculator and a little watch back in the 80s. There you go, right? Not that it's a big deal. But when you have a TV on your wrist, that's kind of a big deal to me. That's pretty cool. Because I can't imagine watching a baseball game on that. Did that go to outfield? Where did that go? Oh, KB6. Oh, yeah. CQDX. Yep. Michael Burt is Radio Shack. Yep. Yep. I remember all those old things, man. I'd like to have some of the old, like I said, because I was listening to shortwave back in the 80s. I think my mom got really mad at me one time because I had this long wire out under the clothesline. She wasn't using it for a while. I was like, yeah, I'll put this out there. And I just shh. And I put the thing, it was like 100 feet long, right? She come on and said, what in the hell is this on? Mom, don't take it down. It's for my radio. I don't care what it is. Took it off. But then she got to the point, I think she liked the clothes fresh, which makes sense, right? But you can't always do that. Sometimes the weather's not good for that. So she just ended up getting a dryer. She's out the hell with it. So I ended up using that, and I'll tell you what, I was getting in everything. It was just sweet. Yep, exactly what mine was, Danny. A Casio. Hell, I still got the... Not that it's super high tech, but back in the day, in the 70s, my uncle had the He was like an audiophile. He loved everything, high tech. He had the Bose 901 speakers. He had the turntable was heat sensitive. You just put your finger over it, it just change from 33 to 78, 45s, just by the thermal touch. And I still got his reel-to-reel Sony. It needs belts now, but I got it underneath the plastic cover. But it's all, instead of that clunkety clunk, 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 man, just click, click, and just soft touch buttons. Got the big VUs in there, which I love. But I just need new belts. I'm thinking, I'd like to sell it off to somebody who would actually appreciate it. And what I mean is actually use it. I've still got some of the reels, the reel-to-reels too, the reels to it, where he's got all the 50s music and everything else. He was into music big time. He was actually good friends with people over at radio stations in California, where he had like the Elvis Presley gold record from the station. You could only get it from the station. He had many things like that, so it was pretty cool. Pat, Casio rocks. I got a Casio on right now. James Craig and Chris, there was an old man by me who fixed the old radio. Sometimes he would throw out a few broken ones. We would take the tubes from them and use them as bangers. They would make a loud bang on impact. Oh yeah, those things. Depending how big they were too, right? The real big ones, power tubes or any of that stuff. Max K said, I always remember going to the airport and there was chairs with TVs. Thought it was amazing. In the VIP lounge, Dad was going to America with IBM. Yeah, I don't know if he's actually shown you those things. Remember the old IBM computers? Oh my God, those things are absolutely huge. Like I said, I remember having the old, they call them like a tombstone radio. The old, this one is an old Philips. Literally, it would come out, the whole front, it had like fins on the front of it, come out like this here. There's like 1, 2, you pull the door open and you have your turntable slide out. And that thing still worked. Had a hell of a sound to it, too. Turntable didn't, because it was basically direct drive, rubber wheel, and it was all disintegrated. The rubber was just disintegrated, and it just wasn't working right. But it would turn a little bit, but not enough to work properly. And but the radio sounded awesome. You just ground it to a pipe in the house, and there was your antenna, and really, really cool. Wish I still had it. It was a really good radio to have. But I was moving, and I wanted to sell it to somebody who would appreciate it, so I moved it along. Noodles, I'm the one with the wacky ideas. Yeah, they may be wacky to some people. Like, I got crazy ideas I come out with sometimes, and people go, oh, yeah, that's pretty fun. Hey, wait a minute, that makes sense. That's like, just crazy stuff. Sometimes you build your own stuff. Like I said, I don't know if I told you guys. Remember I told you I had that Tableau box. In fact, I got the brochure right here. It's basically a streaming box you can record on. It's got 2 tuners built in it and everything else. Here's the problem with this one here. I don't know if anybody's got one. I think maybe one of you guys said he either had one or, or knew somebody had it. But dual tuner, you can record off of it, especially if you got I got a 500 gig hard drive on it. Problem is, people were when I read on this thing, people were saying, "Oh, these things get hot," and they do. They get hot to the touch. So I had a computer fan with the LEDs built in it. But what I do is I just took it, laid it flat like a table, and put 4 wood screws on it. So I made it like a little table. It's about that high off the table, and that Tableau is like the perfect dimensions. Sits right on top of it. So the fan's at like half speed. Got enough amperage, so we're good. But it's at 5 volts, like you'd use on your charge block from your phone, and I wired that into a 12-volt fan. So it's like half speed. You don't want it too fast. It's not going to be able to push the air through. So it's like half speed. Power supply doesn't get hot. It's perfect. And it's just, that box is cooled off. Oh my God. It's like, it's not even room temperature now. It's actually cooler than that. And you can still feel the heat coming out of the vent. So it's not really burning up now. It's nice. It runs nice and cool. I don't like electronics that run extremely hot. That makes me nervous because I just see short life. I don't see the thing working well, right? So every now and then you come up with something to help, what you got because you don't want to see it blow up. So, yeah. And like I said, I just record shows right here. I just hit record on here on the phone. And that's it. Watch my, anything local in my area. I don't care if I'm in Guam. As long as I got Wi-Fi or a service, I can sit there and watch my TV right from here from my house. So it's pretty sweet. Denise, he said, I love classic watches in general. Always on the lookout on eBay auctions for some pieces I'm going after a reasonable price. Yeah, keyword is reasonable prices, right? Yeah. They do not give those away anymore. Exactly, Pete. Pete's vlog says, Chris, I used a calculator watch. We have TV watches, and I grew up in the 80s. And yeah. Yep. H-1V. Hey, if you don't want that Sony, I need another open reel deck for an analog section of the workstation. Huh. Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't have the time to use it. It's perfect. And it's got the old remote controller. It's like this freaking big. And you just click, 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 and it's just hardwired, of course. Really, really nice, well put together reel to reel. I think the last time I seen one of those on eBay was... It was $400 and change for that thing. And, yeah, it's basically a hernia in a wooden box. And things are incredibly heavy. Good reel-to-reel, though, because when the belts were working on it, I listened to it. It's really good, high quality. Had it hooked up to my Onkyo. It was, really, really nice. Yeah, Mags, yep. He said, yeah. My dad went all over the world teaching all other workers technology in its raw state. Well, back then it was high tech, right? But now you look at it now, you go, yeah, whatever. It was sad back then. H-Toss, the new workstation CPU runs at a sizzling 96 Fahrenheit. That's not very hot. That's actually pretty good. Brian Norton, he said, actually, with the ventilation, probably wasn't that bad. Well, I don't know if you're talking about what I was talking about earlier, that Tableau, but man, that thing was hot. Again, you've got the vents, you can see them. There's one on each side. Vent, one in the front, one in the back, and of course, right and left. And that thing, you could feel the heat, the convection heat coming out of this thing. It was that hot. I mean, just a difference. And it's only got feet that far off the darn thing. So it really didn't have much clearance off the table. So like I said, I've got a big fan, good size, the same exact dimensions as the bottom of that. And I just put wood screws on inside the holes there, so it sits perfectly like a little table and just set it right on top of it. And that thing's like less than room temperature, maybe lukewarm. And you can feel just a little heat coming out of it, not a whole lot, just enough to, so it keeps it nice and cool. Valerian, the Mac 3, massive blackout out in Cali? Well, they got a brownout over there? People just using the ACs, pumping them up? Or what's going on over there? Pat Owen, you said, I remember when they smoked cigarettes on the plane. Oh, they should still keep doing that. What's a little hot box in it? I remember that. Everybody's like smoking like a train. Everybody's getting a secondhand smoke. They're like, yeah, I'm going to die. Yeah, that wasn't good. It's not good at all. Frank Centurion, what's going on? Say good morning. James Cragen, thank you very much for your support, brother. I do appreciate you. So, Chris and everyone tonight, take care. Be safe. Oh, yeah. We're going to be popping off this thing anyway. What does that say? They have a flex alert for Cali. They think it's a hot. They think it's the hot heat. Some, 3 digits, triple digits. Oh, double. Yeah, triple. What is a flex alert? Does that mean it's like I said, are they having brownouts over there, or are they? There you go, Noodles. Hot boxing in Mile High Club. Oh my God, you can just sit in this section. That's great stuff. Oh man, yeah, folks, we're gonna jump off this thing. Oh yeah. Oh no, let's put this picture up. This is actually pretty funny. I still like this alien on the left with the baseball bat. He's like, man, I'm going to beat the crap out of you. That would be pretty scary if they were that big and they were literally watching this thing. That would be sad. Let's club it to death. Yep. Let me see. Yeah, sometimes it'll run hot. Those, you guys know that, the CPUs. But, if you got a decent, I've no word of a lie. I know a buddy of mine, he didn't know crap about computers, but he was like, oh, yeah, my stuff runs like, 140, 150 degrees. I'm like, on what? He's like, oh, my CPU. I said, dude, you got major issues there. So you open up the thing, it's got more lint, dust, and everything else. I said, the fan was literally, there was no air passing through that thing on the CPU. And, the good thing about this gaming computer is literally you just detach the face. You got 3 fans in the front, and you got a screen that's magnetic. You just pull it off, clean it all out, just let it snap back into place, put the cover back on, you're ready to go. But a lot of those things, I said, dude, you need canned air. I mean, you need to blow this thing out bad. After you did that, that thing ran almost a little over 110. It wasn't bad. It was like 110, maybe 120 tops. Ran great after that. Well, yeah, I mean, if you're running, because I see Joe Night Fury is talking about the GPUs. GPUs tend to run a little hotter, at least in my experience, anyway. CPUs not so much, but GPUs will, especially how much if you tax them. You know what I mean? But folks, we're gonna jump off of this bad whamma jamma. Get to chill for the rest of the day. I got to work tomorrow, but it won't be that bad. I know most of you probably going, I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to work. And it's Saturday. I know some of you are. But anyway, like I said, guys, thanks for another great hangout. It's just awesome to be with all you folks. Thanks for all the support. Any kind of support is just awesome. I love you all. I'm glad you're all here. Last week, it kind of sucked. And they're still talking about my job. They're like, here's the thing. Nobody wants to work. Okay? They're going to be all forced to come back to work, at least in my state, where I think it's 20th, not 21st or whatever. It's supposed to be real soon. They're kicking everybody off, or they're not getting all of that extra, unemployment. So they're going to have no choice but either just sit on the money they were getting originally, or they got to come back to work. And they're basically like, oh, boo-hoo. It's like, dude, get back to work. But a lot of them don't want to, so you find yourself, you're going to actually have to take somebody else's place on the evening shift, and there's talks about some of us doing that. I'm like, you're killing me right now. So at any given time, this might happen, so I'm just getting you guys, just so you know, I might have to do that sometime. I might have to just like, well, they're going to put me on evening for today, so I'm basically screwed. But yeah, so, but I don't think that's the case at this moment, but who knows, right? We'll just have to see how this plays out in the next few days or whatever. Because it's supposed to be soon, so we'll see what happens. But I'm not really worried about it. But the time we do spend together is just awesome. I love just getting together with everybody, and just having a good old time. Just conversation. Even if it's not to show major stuff here, it's still good to be able to have conversation, talk about this, that, and the other, our views, our thoughts, even if there's an occasional, basically going back and forth, oh, I disagree, whatever. I don't even care about that. You know what I mean? It doesn't bother me. I like to just, I look forward to it because I'm like, man, we didn't have one last weekend, and this is going to be great to have one this weekend. So I was just glad to jump on this evening. But anyway, we're going to call it quits for the night. So everybody have themselves a great night, a great weekend, good morning, because I know again, it's already the morning time for you guys. So just have a good day, and if the weather's great, get out and enjoy it. We're supposed to have like strong thunderstorms in the next 3 days. It could be on and off. In the morning, afternoon, don't matter. It's not choosy. All you dads out there, have a great Father's Day, and nothing but props to you all, the fathers that are hanging in there and being a family with the wife and the kids. Kudos to you for doing that. I've been with my wife for 36 years, married 34. So, kudos to anybody who has a good family, cares about their family, their kids, their wives, and even the wives that care for their husbands. Kudos to you, because in this day and age, they don't last. Just to give you an idea, when my youngest daughter was going to college, they had this class for, trying to remember what exactly she was going for, but it was basically for, I think it was, I'm trying to remember what it was at first because she changed classes, but it was like human resources kind of thing. So where they would diagnose people and stuff like that. But in the classroom, and they said, show of hands, how many people have both parents? She was the only one out of 30 kids. Only one. And they all looked at her like she was rare. Like, what? You got two parents? Are you kidding me? So, so kudos to anybody who does a great job. Nothing but, props to everybody who's actually gives a crap and is in it for the longevity and just loves their family in general. So, everybody, kudos to everybody, and have a good Father's Day if you're a dad. And, big ups to you for doing so. So I'm going to let everybody go. We're just kind of chill for the weekend anyway. Maybe go out and get a bite to eat, chill out a little bit, and not do much of anything, man. Just relax. I work 6 days a week, man. You only get 1 day. It's like a day. Actually, I should say it's 5.5 days. So you work Saturday, maybe up till around noonish, maybe a little earlier. Then get out of here like you just ran out of prison. And then Sunday blows by, and then you're back to the grind again on Monday. Joyous. But anyway, doesn't bother me. As long as we, doing my thing, it's all that matters. Anyway, guys, won't go on any more banter. If you haven't, give the video a thumbs up. Please do so. It just helps get this video out. And it just puts it more on the suggestive side, on the right-hand side, on the suggested videos. So if you don't mind doing that, please do so. And got some more cool ones coming up. You guys know that. We try to get some more Mars and different ones. We'll be looking at some more mosaics and some more of these other moon photos and stuff like that. So yeah, it's always interesting. I love to find just crazy things in these photos and then showing it and sharing it with you guys. That's why I do it, just to see what you guys think. And when I see it, sometimes I just go, there's nothing in here. And then I go, oh wow, like I said, it popped on that last video I just did, where I'm looking at the thing and I'm saying, wow, is that a background or is that something leaning against that? What I call that little mini Devil's Tower. And I just thought that was odd the way that thing was. And I'm just like, it just seen it in a different perspective. I got up, walked away, came back, and I looked at it and said, wow, why does that look like that now? Depending on how you look at it. I don't know if you guys seen it the first time, look at like the hillside, and then you looked at it again, you're like, yeah, wow. I didn't even think to look at it like that, but yeah. So anyway, we'll let you guys go. Everybody have yourselves a good night. What time is it? I got 35 past the hour right now. I'll wait until 45. We'll shut the feed down so everybody can say their goodbyes and just, that's it. Have a good time. Anyway, everybody have yourself a great weekend. Stay healthy. Stay safe. We'll talk to you all soon. Peace.